Welcome back, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, one and all. Forgot to play the intro tonight. Not sure if that actually went through or not. Nice, relaxed Sunday evening here in Spain. Hope you are all having a lovely weekend wherever you are, and that your Valentine's weekend was a success. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining me. It's going to be a bit of a random one this evening. I've got one or two guests maybe joining us throughout the following 60 minutes or so. Depends on how long we go on. It might go on for longer. It's your show, as always, of course. Good welcome to everyone. Let me get my comments up. That's it. Evening, Des the Ledge. Lovely to see you, mate. Long time no see, mate. Hope to see you soon. Always good to see me old mate Des. So a lot of things to go through this evening. As you will have seen from the header of tonight's video, we're talking about last chances and what the events that's gone on over the last few days, over the last week. It's been a really busy, strange week. So much has been going on, and we haven't been able to get around to talking about a lot of it after the good evening Claire Bear, after the announcement that Rupert came out with. Was it on Friday? I believe it was Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, good result for us today. Yeah, nice win, takes us into the next round. So a nice relaxed chat tonight. Has Richard calmed down yet? I believe so. Well, you know, Richard, he's so passionate, isn't he? He's so passionate. Do we agree on everything? No. But no one can fault his passion. Does anyone think it's now over for reform? Well, I'll tell you what I do want to hear from tonight. I want to hear from Restore supporters. I very much want to hear from Restore supporters who feel perhaps not so enamoured with Advance. What are your thoughts on Advance UK and a potential amalgamation? Now, at the moment, nothing is, I see a lot of videos going around at the moment that are stating that this is pretty much a done deal, that it's done and dusted. And I don't believe personally that it is. I don't believe that it is a done and dusted deal yet. I think that negotiations will probably take place if and when. I can't be 100% certain, but at this time I don't believe, or at least I'm not in the knowledge of any formal agreement being reached between Rupert and Ben. I believe in my heart that it will happen. I hope it will happen very much so. If it doesn't, I think we've got a big problem. But more than anything, this evening, I want to hear from supporters of Restore, and I particularly want to hear from supporters of Restore if you feel that a merger isn't in your best interest, that you don't need Advance, and if you feel that way, I'd like to know why you feel that way. Is Advance too centrist? There's a word. Is Advance too centrist for some of you guys and girls from Restore? Sorry, I'm trying to read the chat as well as keep myself occupied. Let's have a little look. The coalition of the right. Let's do it, fellas. Let me know in the comments. Do you believe that an amalgamation between the two parties will be a good thing? I certainly do, but I'm going to go even one stage further than that. I'm going to go one stage further and say that, in fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I messaged Nick Tanconi this morning, and I asked Nick if he would consider getting together with Rupert and Ben and maybe sitting around a table. It's not my place to invite anyone, but it's just a question, right? I'm hoping that Nick will come back to me. I don't know. He usually does. He hasn't yet, but he's not always the quickest to answer his messages. And I said in a post earlier on, I mean, many of you won't have seen what I wrote earlier on. So I'm going to read it out to tell you what I said in my post this morning, which 5,500 people so far have liked at least. We've got our first guest tonight, a bit of a surprise. It is the one and only Lubna. Lubna, good evening.
Hello, darling. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Lubna. Thank you very much. It's been a beautiful day out here in Spain today. The first day where I've actually been able to go out and with me t-shirt on and not get a bit chilly, so I'm happy.
That's good. Yeah, I think you're in the right country. Over here, obviously, it's cold and stuff, but it's fine. It's all good.
I miss it. I miss it. Let me just read this out, Lubna, because this is what I wrote this morning, and I think I want to get viewers' comments on this. It says, I came into the political scene just over 2 years ago with one ambition: to bring people together and try and unite the right. Only united can we take our country back and restore it to a place that we all knew and loved. Nigel Farage isn't interested in unity. He's proven that time and again, and I believe that Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib and Nick Tanconi are three pieces of a jigsaw that need to come together. I will continue to fight for unity until my last breath, and I stand by every word of that. And there are lots of other people that need to come together and sit around a table, and the time for messing around and massaging personal egos, I believe, is over, and the time for real business to start has begun. Lubna, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I remember when actually your video that you put out a few weeks ago, where I think Ben Habib was saying that he wants Rupert to take over, etc., etc. And then I know that you were quite disappointed when we weren't hearing back from Rupert. And
Yeah.
I was reading a lot of the comments, and a lot of people were saying, yeah, but he's focused on the grooming gang inquiry, etc., etc. So it's an interesting turn of events, I think. And with all the other smaller, well, not all the other smaller, but a lot of the other smaller right-wing parties are saying that they're going to step down in support of Rupert, which is something they didn't do for Nigel Farage. I think it's quite interesting. What I'm concerned about is just, I hope when it comes to it, that we're not divided, where then other people take advantage of the situation. Because there are people that will, obviously, they're trying to destabilize the right. And right now, they don't have to try too hard, right? Because there is a lot of difference amongst the people who are on the right-hand side. So my, of course, concern is just that I'm all for. I think what's interesting here is it is actually interesting to see the different sides to the right, to see what are people feeling. Are people feeling more towards a reform side, or more towards a restore side, or more the advanced side? So just to get a feel of what are people actually feeling, I think it's good. But at the end of the day, if we don't unite and we don't have enough votes, we're not going to win. And the left are quite good at least coming together in the end, although we know it's not for the right reasons, but still. So I don't know. It's early days. It's only been a few days, but it would be interesting to see how things go from this.
Have you been following the Rupert Lowe situation? Did you see his announcement on Friday? I'm sure it was Friday. Did you see the announcement?
I've seen the announcement, and it's got more than 20 million views or something.
Crazy, yeah. And you do realise, look, though, if only half of those people that watched that voted, that would be enough to win a general election. But can I ask you, where do you? I mean, I don't know this. It might be a question that you don't even want to answer. Where are you sitting politically at the moment? Are you homeless? Do you have a political home? What's your?
So last time I voted for reform, more to give a message, especially to those people, for example, on the left, in relation to immigration. But I think at that point you were also supporting reform. But obviously
Yeah.
you've also taken a massive turn, and you're one person that I look up to. And I do look for my information and to see what direction you're turning in. But then it seemed that you took a complete U-turn on Reform Party. And then since then it's been quite confusing, because I never really believed that Advance are going to win. So I was like, is there any point of like supporting Ben Habib? And I feel like some of these smaller parties, I'm not saying that, the guys leading it, like Ben Habib, Rupert, I think they're amazing guys. However, if they're just focused on immigration to become a prime minister of a country, you need to have the bigger view. That it's not just about, when you're prime minister, it's not just about immigration and local issues, right? That's of course important, but you do need to think about international stuff, and we need other countries to do business with us. Do those gentlemen have all the other skills needed to be able to be at the international world stage and support us in that way? So I think I've heard a lot about immigration, but what are the other policies? Like what is, I don't know. It just seems a little bit, we'll have to watch this space. So it'd be interesting to discuss the pros and cons of reform and restore.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that, one of the things that are very much attracted me to Advance is the policies that are being written up and the foundations that I see being built. When we talk about individual people potentially running countries, etc. Now, look, I've watched Rupert Lowe a hell of a lot. I think Rupert is a really, really, really clever guy. He's obviously a good businessman. He's a hell of a lot richer than me and you put together and 10 times over. So he's got to be doing something right, yeah? Ben is also a very wealthy individual. He's a very successful businessman. The one thing that worries me about Rupert, I'll tell you what, he didn't half make a balls up and running Southampton Football Club. So when we talk about business, he's capable of getting things right, but he's also capable of getting certain things wrong as well, particularly when it involves the feelings and thoughts of the working class, in the respect that, a football crowd in general is usually a pretty working class group of individuals, and football chairmen can often not quite bond with them at times. Whereas I think Ben, business-wise, has probably proven himself more than Rupert. I don't know. I'm not going to sort of favour one or the other when it comes to business, because I don't get to look at their books. But I think as negotiators, they're both great. As businessmen, they're both very good people. I think in Advance, they're ahead in policy making. I'm not entirely sure, but I would imagine so. But individually, let me ask you a question. Who would you, and it doesn't matter, there's no wrong or right answer here, Lubna. Of the two, who would you prefer to see, do you think, as Prime Minister?
I think between Ben and Rupert, it would be Rupert. Because he seems, I haven't spoken to any of them personally, so this is just going by the limited footage that I've seen online. They both seem passionate. They both seem to have their heart in the right place. If I'm being very, very honest, I do feel, because I don't know what you guys think about this, the viewers, and even you, Paul, that because Ben Habib's father is a Pakistani man, I'm not sure whether in some people's mind that is therefore a limitation, because he's not ethnically, a lot of people are obsessed about ethnicity. Ethnically British, they may not necessarily, especially the ethno-nationalists, for example, may not see him as ethnically British enough, although his mother is ethnically British. So I think, I'm not sure whether that would also be like, I don't know, a drawback. Some people may see that as, actually, we just want someone who's pure, ethnically British. I don't know.
Well, there probably is, Lubna, and look, maybe we can have a very frank conversation about that. And there's probably no one better than yourself for me to open my heart up and talk about this ethno-nationalism thing, because I struggle with this a lot. Because a lot of what they say, I get, I understand, and I respect. For example, one of the things that the ethno-nationalists talk about, which I agree with wholeheartedly, because it's a scientific fact, that to be ethnically British, scientifically, you're probably going to be white, right? That's the bottom line. It's like if you're Japanese, if they test your DNA, you're probably going to be Japanese, right? You're not going to be from Ireland, are you, or from, Algeria. So I get that argument, and I can respect that argument. And I too believe it's very important that any indigenous people, that race, that type of person is kept going and allowed to thrive and survive. I get all that, and I go along with that. But where I draw the line is where people like yourself, people like Ben, people like Shoaib, people like, many people that we all know and love in the country that aren't quite as pale as me, although you're actually looking a bit paler than me tonight, Lubna. I reckon they might chuck me out before they chuck you out.
It's your turn in lovely Spain.
Well, that's the bit I struggle with. The bit that I struggle with is taking away or splitting up families that have been here for generations just because they don't fit into a certain criteria. I really struggle with that. I really struggle with that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I think, and actually I did reply to a post on the Restore Britain X tweet where they were saying, of course, if you're not ethnically British, you're not, just because having a British passport doesn't mean that you're British. And I get that. However, there are lots of examples of people who are ethnically British but don't seem to have Britain's first interest at their heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can get either or, and this is where it is kind of grey. Would you rather have someone who's ethnically British who is a traitor, or would you rather have someone who, okay, they're not ethnically British, but they're so patriotic, they're contributing?
Yeah, I know I'd rather have. I know I'd rather have, any day of the week. I mean, Ben Habib or Nick Lowes, come on. Give me Ben every day of the week, and this is where I struggle with it, because I find it hard in my heart. Oh, this is a big admission, right? But I find it hard in my heart to hate those people because they're so hurt, they're so concerned about what's going on in their country that it's driving them to a position where I don't even think that they really truly want to be. It's just that they're desperate. They're so desperate, they're going down this ethno-nationalism route that, in all honesty, even if they sit and think about it logically, it's not going to work because there's never going to be enough of them to actually win a general election and implement the things that they want to implement. So for me, uniting the right involves a lot of people out there having to tone down their language, tone down their rhetoric, and probably tone down their ambitions in a bid to genuinely get together and win. But they need to be able to, they need to learn to understand that to live in our country, to love our country, to be a part of our country, to contribute towards it, etc., you don't have to be complete. You don't have to be white. I watched Steve Laws the other week, and he was talking about, he wants to get rid of everyone that's not English. Well, I think he said he's only 95% English. Well, I'm 100% English. My family goes back 5 or 6 generations that I can trace. No, more than that, probably 10 or 12 generations. So that makes me more English than Steve Laws. Does that mean I want him gone because he's 2% Irish? It's confusing and it's a mind screw. And I just can't get my head around any of it.
But I think it's also about moving the Overton window, isn't it? So I think Steve Laws did say in his interview with Andrew Gold that he knows what he's asking for, he's not going to get. Because in a negotiation, you ask for more because you're going to get less. So he's kind of pushing the Overton, window. So I get that, and in a way, it's good because all of a sudden the civic nationalist movement seems very it's normal now. As in, not normal isn't the right word. It seems more acceptable.
More acceptable, right? Yeah.
All of a sudden, because let's be honest. The people going in, for example, Tommy Robinson's rally, they've always been branded as racist automatically, right? If you're going in there, that's automatically racist. But then when you hear someone like Steve Laws speak, all of a sudden that movement actually seems more acceptable than what Steve Laws is suggesting. Yeah. So, and I think, so maybe in a way it's good if, I'm just trying to think out loud, if the right seems divided, because then the people who are, I don't want to call them enemies because I don't like to call other humans enemies, but you know what I mean? Like the other side may see that as a weakness have their guard down, and then the right unites when they're not expecting it to, when the left isn't expecting it to, and then we kind of win in the end. That would be interesting as well. So it's like a game of chess. You should hold your cards close to your chest, and at the end of the day, when you make your move, when it's the time to make your move, that is when you make your move, and you don't necessarily show your cards beforehand. And politics is politics. It would be interesting to, I mean, I'm assuming right now that Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib have no contact behind the scenes. Maybe maybe they do, and they just haven't told us, and they're going to unite at the end. I don't know, God knows, right?
We wish.
Politics at the end of the day.
We wish. Yeah, I mean, look, today Reform are talking about potential deals, and there could be deals with the Tories in the future and all that. Look, I've always said this, Lubna, is that Nigel had it all, right? Right at the very start, he had it all. He had all of us. He had every single person really that he could wish for on his side, batting for his team, and he's just locked half of us off, and the that lot comment, although it's been done to death now, far too many people are never going to be able to forgive or forget that. And I mean, even tonight, I'm reading a report. I can't guarantee that this is true, but there's a report that I'm reading tonight that says that Nigel Farage has privately admitted that he doesn't want to be Prime Minister and has no intentions of being Prime Minister in 2029. So what the hell does that mean? If it's true, now I've got to say that's an alleged comment. It's not proven. It's out there on X. Take it with a pinch of salt if you like, and it may well be untrue. And if he hasn't said that, that's fair enough. But this is what's going around tonight. And we've often said in the past that we don't believe Nigel's really up to the job in the first place. So it may well be true. And if it was, where does that leave Reform? Who's going to be the leader? And I don't think the British public would accept Zia Youssef as leader of that party. And I think that might be what he's being groomed for.
Yeah, so I think with both Restore and Reform, there are pros and cons. I mean, Elon Musk has come out on X and he's shown his support for Restore. And I don't know how much weight that carries. I mean, I, as a personal preference, I don't like it when people outside mingle with our politics, because I think it's for us. But obviously we can't stop people. Nigel Farage is friends with Trump, I'm assuming still. So that may go in his favor. The problem with the Reform Party is it's not just, it started with Zia Youssef and I thought, okay, fine. It's just one person. And he's anti-immigration or whatever. He's saying the right things overall. But then now there seems to be an influx of more and more. And although some people I approve of, like Leila Cunningham, everything that she said so far, sounds good. But then there's some other people that have joined. And I'm just thinking, have they really been able to find so many people from my faith that believe in the same values as us? I don't know. I'm not quite sure now, because I haven't found all these great, amazing people from my personal experience with my family members and relatives and friends and being alive for 40 years so far. Raised as a Muslim, my parents are born in Pakistan. And I'm just thinking, I haven't found so many lovely people that share the same values, which I would call British values. How have Reform Party been able to find so many of these people to join their party from? And I'm just thinking, is that really true? So I do doubt it. And then I'm thinking, but then I'm thinking about other stuff as well, because there are some people from my background who have, I feel, put out fake content on X saying, ha, 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 Muslims are joining Reform Party. So actually, when those people who are voting for Reform, they think they're going to get us out of the country, actually, they're voting for us. And I feel like some of these Islamists are playing these kind of mind games with the public so that you don't vote for Reform. So I feel like I can't tell what's going on now. Like, I just can't tell. The waters are so muddy, I can't see the wood for the trees. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. I mean, obviously, I'm a part of Advance, so I'm firmly in that camp. Look, Rupert. What Rupert is doing is great. I'm hoping we can get together. As for Reform, I've been done with Reform for a long time. Look, I've never met Leila Cunningham personally. I know someone very well, that does know her very well, that deals with her every day. And he is a very good friend, someone I trust immensely, and he assures me that her intentions are strictly honourable. Look, you know, it's easy to see her and say bad things about people, but I've never met her. I don't know the woman. You know, she has a past where she has said things that wouldn't necessarily align with our views, but everyone's entitled to change their mind. Look, when I look at the makeup of reform, it just gets, you know, as the pie is being completed, or the jigsaw puzzle is being completed, is probably a better analogy. As the jigsaw pieces are falling into place, the less I like it. You know, and I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way. There is an opening and there is an opportunity for another party, but for me, they have to be united. And we need to unite everyone. And for me now, it's all about putting personal preferences, minor differences, personal ambition, because personal ambition in politics is a big problem. Ego and personal ambitions, all that has to be put aside. We have to come together and we have to do what we need to do to make sure that we win our country back and that everyone is safe. And the bottom line is, as far as all this ethno-nationalism is concerned, and the reason that it's growing, Lubna, I believe, is that the people have been at North for so very long. I think there's a very, very small amount of people in this country, and I mean a very small amount of people, who want to see you deported. But I think there's a hell of a lot of people in this country who have just had enough, where their towns suddenly being turned into something they didn't recognise and that they never asked for. And that's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's not the people that are getting fed up's fault. It's not the ethno-nationalist fault. It's the governments who haven't carried out the mandate that they've been given. They haven't carried out their instructions.
I disagree with that. I think they're doing exactly as per the instructions that have been given
From
to them.
higher up.
Open borders. Yeah, open borders. And I think anyone who's looked into this even a little bit can tell that this is not an accident. It's very much deliberate.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much evidence pointing to that. You know, when the boats come here, they're shipped back. Why are you shipping them back? Why would you not just want to keep them here, right? So and there's other evidence. Apparently, there's conversations that obviously, please do cross-check and verify anything I say yourself as well. But there's other evidence that people have alluded to, where there are conversations between the French and the British, and they're talking about getting the people across and all that kind of stuff. So it all seems like they are complicit. So I feel as if that when it feels as if it's being done to us deliberately, it probably is. We're not deaf, we're not dumb, we're not blind. You know, I think that the senses that God has given us, we need to maybe just believe in those senses that, you know, it all seems deliberate. And I think that's the sad thing, because England cannot be England without English people, for example. Like, I love England, I love English culture, but I'm not kind of thinking that, oh, you know, England is England because of me, because I'm from an immigrant background and the immigrants have made England. That's all nonsense, right? So England is only England because of the English people. And that's what I fear, that if they are getting so many people in, and it's not even that they're getting so many people in, it's the wrong type of people. It's the hostile people. There are, of course, good migrants who will contribute, who are high skilled, who would be willing to assimilate. They would love English culture. You do have those kind of people, but those are not the people that are coming in the masses. The hostile people are coming in, who are still thinking about colonialism, and they see it as some kind of revenge, you know. So, and that is my fear, because even the fact that I was born here, yes, I may not be ethnically, you know, British, but even me being born here, they see me as the other. And I've experienced this going Pakistan as a child, and even as an adult growing up. They don't see me as a Pakistani at all. I know some people here may, because my parents were born in Pakistan, and I get that, but Pakistani people don't see me as Pakistani. They see me as British. I remember my grandmother sat me down and even said to me, "You're not Pakistani. You weren't born here. You were born there. You're British." She used to say that to me. And, you know, and it's funny because some of my relatives, okay, they weren't that educated, but they used to blame me for colonialism. And I used to sit there thinking, what the hell? Like, I'm literally 10 years old. I used to talk about colonialism and how bad Britain was. And like, you guys, the British. And I'm thinking, I'm not even white. So they don't accept us, because even me being born here, and even they see me as being a WHORE, I don't want to say the word, But just because I'm born here, they would assume I've got multiple boyfriends and I've had sexual relationships outside of marriage, and I must be doing all this bad, unholy stuff. And I'm like, I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. Like, I was a virgin before I got married and all that kind of stuff. So it's the mentality. I don't want these type of people coming here. There's too many that are coming with that mindset. It scares me because I feel like it's not enough that, okay, they're coming here and, you know, they've got the British passport and they're saying that they're contributing and that they're in their little ghettos. Well, that's fantastic. But I know that what they're feeding to their children is going to be the hostile mindset. So that's why you see people like, where you see all these Muslim influencers, for example, from my background, who are spouting a lot of rubbish on social media. That is their upbringing speaking. Their parents were bad apples. The tree was bad, so the apples are bad, right? So that is literally the impact of their upbringing, the effect of it. So, and you can see it. So it's all, you know.
Yeah. Let me welcome a very special guest to the show. It is the one and only Nick Buckley, Advanced UK candidate for Gorton and Denton in the forthcoming by-election. Nick, thank you for joining us tonight. Good to see you. How are you?
I am good. I'm tired. I could do with a good sleep, but apart from that, I'm doing well.
Have you met Lubna before?
We've had many a conversation, me and Lubna.
Oh, well,
it's fantastic.
No introductions needed then. I'll just bugger off and you two can carry on. Nick, tell me, how's it all going, mate? How's the campaign going?
It's going well. It's only a very short campaign. I think it's like 4 weeks, and Labour did this on purpose because they wanted this over and done with. So they created a very short by-election. It took us a week to get off the ground, but we're off the ground now. People, it's hard to say all people, but many people in the area know me through running for mayor, my charity work, things like that. So I've got a bit of a head start there. The social media is doing well. We've made some really good films and some good AI for Facebook and stuff. So that's doing well. But speaking of people on the ground, it's a mixture. We've got a lot of Green support in one half of the area in the Gorton side. We've got shy Labour voters who are saying, don't tell anybody, but I'm still going to vote Labour. I'm just embarrassed to say it. And then the other side, the Denton side, it's really a race between me and Reform UK.
So tell me a little bit, being the local, and Lubna, if you've got any questions for Nick, because I don't think we've got him for too long. As he said, he's tired. It's funny you say that, Nick, about shy Labour voters. I mean, admitting to voting Labour these days is a bit like admitting you wear your wife's knickers to work, isn't it? But tell me about the area. Gorton and Denton. I've got to be honest, I don't know the area. So give the viewers, a bit of an idea of what the demographics like, what it's like to live there, the social side. Give us a rundown. Yeah.
So there's two halves. You've got the Denton half, which is white working class. Used to be traditional Labour voters, but they've completely abandoned. They hate Labour. When I speak to people in Denton about Labour, they go basically, oh, the pedo people. That's what they're called now, the pedo apologists, the pedo lovers. That's how those people are referring to Labour now in Denton. They're done there. The other half, Gorton, and Gorton also includes bits of Burnage, Levenshulme and Longside. This is where I was born and grew up. I know this area like the back of my hand. I've still got close family living there, family, friends. I've worked there. I've owned houses there. And I live just a mile down the road now in the city centre. That's a little bit more complicated. You've got a very large Muslim population. I believe about a third is Muslim, mainly Pakistani Muslim. And then you've got some white working class living there who have not moved out yet. We've had a lot of white flight from Gorton. When I was a kid, it was completely white area. It's not now. But then you've also got the students, and you've got lots of woke, far left, hippie lunatics living there as well. So the Gorton is a lot more complicated area.
So they'd be voting Green, I suppose.
Yes, green posters everywhere in Gorton, Longside and Levenshulme.
Oh, if it's anything like Brighton, they put the green posters in the window and all their rubbish on the doorstep.
Yes.
Talk about a contradiction in terms, eh? So What's the campaign been? Because look, you've not had long. So what's it? Have you done any doorstepping yet? Have you been out and about in the area? What's the general reception? I mean, it's a difficult question, but the one I've got to ask you. I mean, a lot of people there may not even have heard of Advance, but they're going to have heard of you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So not many people have heard of Advance UK, so therefore we're not advertising Advance UK. I'm running this more like an independent. This is about Nick Buckley. Oh, I've heard of Nick Buckley. So we talk about, Advance is mentioned on the posters and stuff, but it's not about vote Advance, it's vote Nick, because we'd spend too long trying to educate people what Advance is. On the doorsteps and speaking to people in the street, again, it's two halves. In Denton, their number one concern is mass immigration. And the second I talk about the grooming gangs, the anger, it's just pure anger straight away. On the other half of the area, the number one concern is dirt and grime and litter, because Denton is very clean. Gorton, alongside Levenshulme, inner city, it looks absolutely awful. And that's what people are saying is their number one concern.
What's going on with Matt Goodwin? Because on these first hustings, I believe he didn't turn up. He didn't turn up,
yeah. And he should have done, because the first hustings was very good. It was very polite. It was a left-wing audience, but they were very respectful. They clapped after everyone spoke. Some people came and spoke. It was actually very nice, the first one. He didn't turn up for that. He turned up at the second one, which was awful. The moderators lost control at the end. People were storming out. Nobody was clapping. I got booed and people screamed shame at me. So the second one was a lot tougher. That was purely a left-wing audience with plants in the audience as well. He cancelled the first hustings with an hour to go. And the woman organised it, told us all, told the audience why he cancelled. He tried to get his supporters to get seats, but was told we're sold out and we only want local people in the audience. So he got told you can't bring 30 people to sit and clap for you. And he also wanted his own green room. He didn't want to sit with the other candidates before the show. He wanted his own green room. And I thought, a bit strange. But then at the second hustings, I was sat in the green room and he came in with his people and they walked straight through to another room and pulled the curtain. So he had his own green room in the second hustings as if he's something special.
Did he engage with you at all?
No, he didn't speak to any of us.
No hello, shake your hands, nothing.
When we sat down on the table on the stage, he leant over and said, "Hi, I'm Matt," and shook my hand. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least he did that. Lubna, have you got any questions for Nick Lubna while you're there?
Yeah, I mean, I am curious because I remember when you announced that you're running, of course, there was a lot of criticism as well. There's lots of support, but there's also criticism. So, and where people are concerned about the right being divided, like, how do you see it from your perspective? Like, do you feel like what impact do you think is going to have on the right in terms of, do you think we're divided? Do you think we can unite? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't class Reform as on the right. I think they're centrists. They're just a brand new, sparkly, lots of fireworks version of the Tory party. So I don't class them as right. But people still see them as on the right. People are saying to me all the time, are you going to split the vote? So my answer is this. First of all, it's not for us to remove voting options for members of the public. How dare these people think they know better than the people of Gorton and Denton? So therefore, you idiots are going to waste your vote. So therefore, you idiots don't deserve any more choice. We're going to take some of that away from you because these votes now belong to Reform UK. They're our votes, and we don't trust you as voters to make the best decision for you, your family, your street, your neighbourhood. That's part of the answer. And the other answer is, let's say it all goes wrong, and let's say the Greens win because I've taken votes off Reform, and I am taking votes off Reform. That's clearly evident on the street. If that happens, well, what happens? Well, the Green Party have 5 MPs instead of 4, still can't do anything. Yeah. And if Reform win, they have 9 MPs instead of 8, still can't do anything. But if the Greens got in, maybe that's the catalyst to wake the country up. Or maybe I should have voted, because 50% of people have said you don't even vote. So maybe I should have voted. Maybe I need to take this seriously. Maybe I need to wake up and see what's happening to my country. So even if this all goes wrong and the Greens win, it may be the wake-up call for the country and what is needed. But I'm not sure. I don't think the Greens are doing as well as we think.
No, I don't.
I don't think the Labour ever has been as badly damaged as we think in this area. It's all to play for.
And I think, by the way, on that point, Nick, about not being registered to vote, the website address to register to vote is running across the bottom of the screen right now.
It's too late now to register for this election. Yeah,
I was going to say for this one it's too late, but you know whatever you do, if you do one thing, people often say to me, "Oh, Paul, what can we do?" Register to vote. The amount of people that moan and I meet in the street and they haven't registered to vote, and I'm like, please just go out there and register. Even if you're not going to vote for the party that I want you to vote for, take part in the democratic process. And mind you, having said that, if you're going to vote Labour, maybe not, but.
People need to vote, and people need to take their civic duty a bit more importantly, because other groups of people are doing that. Other people are organizing, they're collecting ballot papers, postal votes, they're trading postal votes with each other, and other groups are doing this. And what we're doing is, I'm not voting. Well, we're going to lose this game if we're not voting.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns about the election, Nick? Do you have any concerns at all?
Only the concerns I've had for the last 15 years, 20 years. The postal vote is fraudulent, is all over the country. It's abused. We need to change that law. You should be basically bedridden to be able to get a postal vote. It shouldn't be a choice that you just can't be bothered walking to the polling booth. Yeah. So but that's already factored in. We know that's going to happen. It's already happened. Postal votes went out the other day, so that's already happened. And then the count. I've been shocked over the last 15 years of the reports from people telling me how crooked the counts can be. Hence why we have people stood at the counting desks, looking who's counting and looking what they're doing, looking what piles they're putting them in. A friend of mine stood at Independent in Rochdale last year, and he was at a table watching the count, and he had to stop it and call someone over and say, they've just pushed a load of piles in the Labour pile, and all those votes were Reform UK, and I'm an independent, so I don't care. They looked at the table, pulled out 600 Reform votes, and Reform won the seat because of those 600 votes. So it's happening all the time.
Yeah. And we've all seen how the left are prepared to get down and dirty. They have no morals whatsoever. Lubna, have you ever seen any evidence or heard any evidence of rigging up where you are or where you've been in the past?
I would be surprised if it's not happening. I would say, again, sadly, I don't like saying this, but obviously the countries that our parents come from, this is normal. I don't expect the results not to be rigged. That's like the default. It's always rigged in these countries. And where you have a lot of these people coming from these countries, I mean, they've done every scam that you can think of, and even so many that you haven't thought of.
It's their norm.
Think of. So I'm damn sure that they've been doing this for decades. Like it's like the grooming gangs and the other issues. I think, but the problem is that this country used to be a high trust society, and now we do have a lot of influx from people from countries with from a low trust society, and they're going to take the mick. They're going to be doing stuff that they've been doing in their own countries, and for them that's normal, right? And I think this is the weakness, sadly, that and I don't like saying that it's a weakness, but it is sadly that when you do have a high trust society, that does become its own weakness. And we've been in this position for a long time, but we're just starting to understand this a little bit. But this has probably been going on for decades, right? Yeah. So I guess what can we do about it? How can we guarantee that doesn't happen? I'm not sure that we can.
Postal votes. We need to end postal votes. That's the big part of this problem.
Nick, what did you make of Rupert's announcement on Friday?
Yeah, took me by surprise. No one saw this coming. We've now got a quandary, and the only answer is a merger. That has to be the answer. I don't know how we get it. I don't know if it's on the tables. I don't know if Rupert's going to reject it. But Ben is up for it. Ben Habib's up for it. I think next couple of weeks, we'll have more information. But we're basically, to a certain extent, the same party. It'll be It'll be horrendous. It'll be horrendous if we don't merge.
Yeah. I believe. Well, I've said myself that if we don't merge, I think we might as well pack up and go home because, let me just tackle this one. I don't think it's wise to have a Muslim leader. I'm sorry, but Ben is out. Ben isn't a Muslim. Just so that you're aware of that.
He's a Christian.
He's a Christian. Yeah.
He's been baptized, and his parents are baptized. He's a Christian.
I mean, I reckon it will be called Restore and Advance. I mean, do you know what? Actually, gang, I'll tell you what, it's a great name, isn't it? Restore and Advance UK. First of all, we need to restore it, and then we need to advance it, right? So kill two birds with one stone there. But are you hopeful that amalgamation will take place, Nick?
I don't know. We've had no information. We don't know. I'm just hopeful that it comes off. It has to come off. There's no point worrying about if it doesn't, because as you're right, if it doesn't, we're all doomed. Yeah. So we need positive energy. We need to say it needs to happen. It just needs. I don't care what they call it. I don't care what they call the party.
Yeah.
I don't care who leads it. No. I don't care if they say, and Nick Buckley can't join because we don't like him. Well, I don't 100%. Care about that.
Yeah, I agree, Nick. Do you know what, Nick? I love that attitude. I love that, and the same with me. If they said to me, you know what, Paul, we can't have you on the college, I go, right, see you later, no problem. Yeah. Just go and win, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just go and win. Do the job.
I see what Advance want to achieve, and I see what Restore want to achieve. It's like I want all of that. Thank you. If you don't want me involved, just do it. And
we can go back to having a normal bloody life.
Exactly. There's pubs around here inviting me back in because they never see me anymore.
What was I going to say? I had something else on my mind. I wanted to ask you, Nick, about the election. Oh, yeah. So, honest question, tough question. How do you rate your chances?
I'm in 4th place at the moment, which isn't bad. 4th place. So Labour, Greens and Reform are above me. One of the bookies had me to 80 to 1 the other day. I started off at 500 to 1. I'm now down to 80 to 1. Only one bookie's got me at that. We've still got 10 days to go, 10, 11, 12 days to go, and we will see. My campaign is ramping up as every day goes past. All the other people, their campaign now have plateaued. That's as much, they're carrying on that plateau, but mine's still going up because we started late. We're only a small party. I'm banging my my unique position, which is I'm the only local candidate. I've got a track history of improving this area and doing social work and all those social projects. And I'm the only person with a local manifesto for the area. No other candidate is talking about local issues. They're all talking national. So we're talking about, we're going to fix the NHS. We're going to do a wealth tax. We're going to stop the boats. And I'm saying to them all, none of you can do any of those things. You're going to be one MP and Labour's still going to have a super majority. You can't do anything.
What are you going to do for Gordon and Denton? Yeah.
Exactly. What you're doing is you're selling them pie in the sky promises that you're not going to deliver. And you wonder why everybody hates politicians because you're doing exactly the same thing again. I've taken the opposite track. I've got a 5-point manifesto of things local that I know I can achieve with no help and support. Because what's the point of promising it if I need a new law or I need 14 billion to do it? So my 5-point plan is this. On day 1, I launch a grooming gang and sexual abuse inquiry locally. I launch it on the first day. I know who's going on the panel. It's not going to have the teeth of a proper one, but we can interview victims. We can interview people involved. We can find names. We can investigate them. And then, because it's a public inquiry, I make it all public. And then we see we can knock over any dominoes to see what we can uncover there. But at least that can get done. My second point is knife crime is an issue all over the country, but especially in places like Gorton and to a certain extent Denton. I don't want any more dead kids on the street. So I'm going to use part of my salary as an MP to fund an on-the-street youth project, taking knives off the street and ensuring kids are safe and they know how to stay safe and avoid conflict. So that's my second point. My third point is the councils. An MP has no control over councils. But I'm going to set up a hotline where council staff, and there is lots of good council staff, they just work in a broken system, where they can report an evidence to me, wasted incompetence. and I'm going to use that with the press to embarrass the councils so they fix themselves. I'll create such a storm for them over the years I'm an MP that they will start fixing themselves because they don't want me on their back. The fourth point will be Greater Manchester Police. The police are failing all over the country, and it's the same in Greater Manchester. The police seem to have different priorities to me and you. The police's priorities now will be, you said something naughty on Facebook and knocking on your door at 3 PM. I don't know anyone who thinks that should be a priority. So I'm going to arrange monthly meetings, public meetings with a senior police officer, not a sergeant, not a PCSO, but a senior chief inspector, superintendent, and the public will be able to address questions to them. And we want to make sure the police's priorities are our priorities. They seem to have forgotten that they work for us. They seem to think now that they're the Gestapo, that they're our guards, and they've got to control us. It's like, no, mate, you've got this wrong. You need to do as you're told. These are our priorities. You need to work for us. And my fifth point is this. If I'm going to hold the police and the councils accountable, who's going to hold me accountable? So therefore, my fifth point is I'm going to hold 10 public meetings a year where anyone can turn up and hold me accountable. Why did you vote that way in Parliament, Nick? Why weren't you in Parliament? Why don't we ever see you here? What are you doing about that? And those meetings are going to be very uncomfortable, and I don't want to do them. But I know I work for those people, and they need to be able to have access to me free and easy and ask me questions. And I need answers to give these people because they're my boss. And it's unfair to expect these people to have to wait to the next general election before they hold me accountable and have their say. They need to be having a say on me almost on a monthly basis.
Well, I hope there's a few people from the area watching, Nick, because if they are, I'm sure you've just swung their votes your way. And if you haven't, well, they need their heads read. But it's the thing. I'll tell you what, Lubna, what he said earlier on is so true. Look, if the Greens were to win, it means nothing. If Labour was to win, it's just another MP. If Matt Goodwin was to win, it's just another result for a reform. If Nick was to win, it shakes the political landscape like you have never seen before. So anyone up there in Gorton and Denton, if you've got a vote, there's the man to vote for at the bottom of the screen there. He's a local man. He fights for local people. He's been doing it for donkey's years. I've got pictures of Nick Buckley out on the streets, in the streets of Gorton and Denton 20 years ago, helping the homeless. Right?
I had dark hair and lots of it.
I was going to say, you had hair, mate. They had hair. So this is a man with a solid, proven, genuine background. He's a politician that speaks for the people. The people of Gorton and Denton, give this man your vote, please, honestly. And I'm hoping upon all hope that Rupert Lowe might come out and endorse you for the by-election. We'll have to see.
Wouldn't that be amazing? If
it'll be a big statement, wouldn't it? It'll be a big statement, yeah. And this is what we need now. We need unity. Yeah, we need unity. Nick, thanks so much for coming on. Before I let you go, my friend, Lubna, do you have any questions for Nick?
I know that you need to go, so I'll leave it there.
Yeah, all the best, Nick. Thank you so much, mate. And we'll try and get you on again before the election. Yeah,
that'd be great. Thank you so much.
All the best,
seeing you again, Lubna, and thanks as always, Paul.
Have a lovely evening and good luck, mate. I wish you all the best. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. There you go. That is Nick Buckley. Let's get through one or two supers. Nookie is a new member. Thank you very much. Ish. Hope they merge, but want the college kept. Yes, that is going to be a big bone of contention, I feel. Good boy. Hi, Paul. Is Tommy hiding in your attic? I actually haven't got an attic, so he couldn't be in there. Debbie, good evening, Paul. Thank you so much. The Courier, Mr. Courier, all for a union, but only if we keep the college. Have you been following that at all, Lubna, the college? You know what that's all about?
Nope, I don't.
Okay, so Ben has the college behind him, which is I'm a part of. You know, we hold the leader of the party to account. It's a group of, I'm not quite sure how big the college is, maybe 40, 50 people from varying industries and areas of expertise. I'm there as the mascot, I think, you know, but, you know, it's a good group of people, right? I think I think that Rupert is not keen on having people in the background potentially holding the leaders or the leader to account. And that's going to be a big problem, I think, for many of the advanced members who love the idea of a college. And I think it's great. You know, Gib Boy, Tommy's going to write a classic in Paul's Hack. Nicola Dolby, how far we want to go with ethno-nationalism, concentration camps? My grandparents fought the Nazis. I won't have that in charge here. Thank you, Nicola. Tony Dunsford, hi Paul, Ben Habib all the way to number 10. Andrew Westy, the timing of this announcement is somewhat troubling, seeing that Ben has no prior knowledge of it for almost a month. The way it's spreading across YouTube is astounding. Something appears deceptive. I'm gonna stay quiet on that one. Mr. Le Courier, I think we have got to stand strong by advance and hope Rupert joins our cause. The college is an important part of the way things work. We are true patriots. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Not far from 100,000 subs. We'll probably lose lots of reform voter subs when my new song comes out. What will be will be. We are true patriots. If you haven't already subscribed to his channel, please do so. Get him to that 100,000 subs. Just a couple more. Carl Brockwell, Ben is too nice to be Prime Minister. Stop splitting the vote, get behind Rupert and get results. Carl, thank you for that. But first of all, at the moment, there's no vote to split. Rupert has a party. He's a one-man band at the moment, pretty much. So we're not splitting any votes. Rupert's not standing for Parliament anytime soon. He's not up for re-election. He's not putting forward any candidates. There's no vote to split, Carl. That's the bottom line. We're hoping that we can all get together and that will be the perfect thing, wouldn't it? And June, thank you so much, June. Really appreciate the super sticker there. Lubna, lots of love for you in the chat. What is going on with you right now? Tell us about your book and, you know, how's life for you? Because you've been through it, haven't you, in recent months?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I've been doing YouTube in terms of the topics I speak about for the past 2 years. And, you know, in these 2 years, I've taken down my content several times. So when you would go to my YouTube channel, if you look at how many subscribers I have, more than 122,000. I can't remember how many I have now. More than 122,000, I think, at this point in time. But when you look at how many videos I have, it's like 60 videos or something.
Yeah.
Because I've had to keep taking down my content in case I upset the Islamists, you know, God forbid. You know, because I do get death threats. I've had to flee my hometown of Luton, where I lived for 40 years. The death threats increased when I published my book a few weeks ago, 2035 Britain, a Candid Story. And the sales are doing better than I thought, to be honest. This is the first book in the series, and the feedback's been absolutely amazing. 5-star reviews on Amazon. It's only available on Amazon. But even me, you know, although I've made it clear I'm not going to ever do any blasphemy, because I want Muslims to read this book and really, especially the Pakistani community, to really challenge the way they think, because I want positive social reform. And that's not going to happen if I'm going to make my content or anything inaccessible to them, right? So I've said there's never going to be any blasphemy. I want you to read it, really engage with the content. It is a semi-autobiography. It's fiction, but inspired by true events. Every single story I've shared about the Muslim Pakistani community in this book is true. I haven't made up anything. Of course, I've changed people's names, but you know, there are even people in the comments I can see that have read the book, and they, you know, they've loved the book. So this is the first book in the series. I'm hoping that I'm trying everything that I can, all the skills that God has given me to get through to the Muslim Pakistani community. You know, I want positive social reform. Yes, it's not going to happen overnight. And, you know, some people understand video language better than reading. Some people prefer reading things. So I'm trying everything that I can. But, you know, I am a one-man band. A few people have said join, advance, etc. But then there's other people in the comments that have said, if a Muslim joins advance, I'm leaving. Well, I could reassure everybody that I do also believe that ideally ethnically British people should be in Parliament, because even if I've got good intentions, I think even when someone sees someone like me, because sadly the trust has been broken over so many decades, they don't, it's like a trigger seeing someone like me up there, and I appreciate that. But because I understand that emotionally, I'm never ever, I don't plan to put myself in a position where I'm going and I'm into politics because of that. Because I you know, I appreciate the sentiments and how you guys are feeling. Trust me, I do get it. And that's why, because I respect your feelings, I'm not going to put myself in a political position, right? I'm happy to support people behind the scenes, but I think that, you know, I would like to put my money where my mouth is. So, you know, so it's a journey. We'll see where it goes. It is difficult for me to find a job at this point in time. Of course, I did have the interview with Tommy Robinson as well a couple of months ago. And
yeah, I was going to speak to you about that. Yeah. How did that work out for you?
It was really good. Like, even I had some comments from Muslims who were saying, you know, actually, you know, the way the conversation went was so good in terms of like two people talking. We weren't there to suck up to each other, or, you know, we did speak about our differences, but it was respectful, right? Because our intent was good. It wasn't there to like debate and, you know, show who's you know, who's got the upper hand. It was like both of us had good intent, and it showed. Everyone has loved that conversation. However, when you do have a conversation and sit down with someone like Tommy Robinson, because he is very controversial, people automatically think, oh, now she's supporting him. They are best buddies. And I'm like, I only sat with him once. So that is slightly frustrating. But all I would say is I've interviewed many people over the last couple of years on my channel. I've interviewed like Bollywood stars, like actors and actresses, and even what's her name, Baroness Sayeeda Warsi. I'm not best buddies with any of them. It's my job as a host to interview people.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
But you know, anyways, it's just people's mindset.
Did you get? Would you say you had more positive or more negative feedback from that interview?
Oh yeah, it's been really, really good. Like, if you even read the comments, you can see that 99.9% of the feedback has been, I would say 100% of the feedback's been amazing. But however, there are a few people from my background who didn't appreciate me sitting down with him, because they're like, but he bashes our religion and he hates all of us and he's a racist, and how dare you sit with him? So I don't even think they've listened to the conversation. It's just the fact that they've seen a thumbnail of me sitting down with him. Even that has triggered them. And all I could say is, look, I'm an independent, free woman. The last time I checked, you know, we're still living in Britain. And yes, things have become sadly quite bad. However, you know, I'm still doing what I want to do, right? I've still had a chat with Tommy. I'm still continuing with my YouTube channels. I've still written a book, you know, so I'm still here breathing. And because I don't think my intentions are wrong. Like, I'm not doing any blasphemy. All the things that they have an issue with, I'm not doing any of those things. So, but if they still have an issue, then I'm sorry, the issue is with them. It's not with me.
Yeah. I mean, most of the people watching this right now, we've got, where are we? 2,320 people watching. I think most of them will know who you are. If you don't know who Lubna is, you know, go over to her channel. It's Candid with Lubna, and follow her journey. It's been, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say I've been there from the start, but I've pretty much almost from the start, when you hit the social media scene, talking about what you talk about now. It's been a rough ride for you. A lot of people would have given up by now and moved on, I think, Lubna. It says a lot for your backbone, to be honest, and I'm not being patronising when I say that. You know, I've seen a lot of people come and go and buckle under the pressure, but you've refused to do so. In the book, you say it's one of a series, so you plan to bring out more.
Yes, exactly. And for those of you guys who have read the book, you'll know what I mean, that when it ends, you know that it needs to continue. So it can stand on its own as well. But I think because what I'm trying to achieve, it's not going to be achievable in one book. It's a short book. It's a novella. It's not going to take you like weeks and weeks and weeks to read. It's not like a thick book. It's very thin. It's not going to take long to read. But I think everything that I want to convey, because it's a journey, and what I want to do is, I know that being born as a Muslim in a Pakistani household, I was heavily indoctrinated, even coming from a liberal family. So I want to take people on a journey with me, that hopefully by the end of the series, they would have come out of some of their indoctrination, at least, or think differently. I want them to use their critical reasoning skills. So, you know, so let's see, I'm trying to achieve something. I want to be a spark to people, where I inspire people or help them think a different way. You know, oh, actually, she's got a good point. I never thought about that. I just want them to start using their brain. I'm not saying I agree with everything that I say. I'm just a human. You know, I change my opinion as well. It evolves with time and stuff like that. But I think that for people who think it's okay to send people death threats and want someone dead just because of like a book or what they've said on YouTube, I think that's really crazy. So, you know,
Crazy. How long did it take you to write it, Lubna?
Oh, I wrote this over a period of a month. So there's another channel that I have, Bloom with Lubna, and I held public lives where it's just me sitting there in silence, typing away. And then my followers who support me, they're just talking amongst each other and watching me for a couple of hours, like 5 a.m. in the morning, me writing away. So, and I plan to do the same thing with all my other books because it's a way of me like motivating myself to write. Because when I was halfway through, I was like, why the hell did I start this book? I don't want to finish it now. But
ASMR with Lubna.
What was that, sorry?
ASMR with Lubna. You're sitting there typing and people, you're not gonna start scratching the mic next.
But it's a good way of motivating. So it took a month. And it's funny because of the critics, as usual, from my background, they're like, oh, she's got AI to write it. I'm like, every single word that I've written in this book, every little dot, everything is mine. And you can tell as well, because there's a unique, authentic style of me writing it. And they've just tried to throw everything at this book. You know, some people try to write fake reviews as well. Obviously the names gave it away and it said unverified purchase. And then obviously those fake reviews were reported, they were taken down. But so far, I would say are all my reviews 5-star? Maybe there's one 4-star review, but I've got more than 129 reviews and overall it's a 5-star rating. So it's not too bad for a,
When's your next one? Do you have any plans as to when the next one will be out?
I need to write it. I think, it's gonna take me longer to write the next one because there's a bit more. It's going to be focused more on the Civil War aspect. This book is kind of a warning as well of what can happen potentially to avoid that. What we need to kind of do and what changes we need. So that book will take me longer to write. I haven't started writing it yet. I plan to start in maybe the next month or so, but I want more people to purchase this one first because there's no point in me having part 2 out if there's not enough people who are reading the first one. So there is a lot of demand for part 2 to come out, but I don't want to take, I want to take my time. This is not something that's going to rush out. Yeah.
People saying read Ben's latest tweet. Let me just, 1 second, let me see what he's written. Well, the latest tweet that I can see, at least, unless I'm running behind somewhere. I am proud of our language, history, empire, heritage, national heroes, national identity, values, and most of all, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. We all should be. Is that the tweet that you refer to? Or have I missed something? Seems to be, let's have a look. Please do unite, reform and advance, save our country. So, yeah, I mean, look, you touched on it a little bit earlier on, Lubna, but would you ever consider going into politics? Would you ever do that?
If people want me to, if there's a demand, and if I can actually add value, I mean, I'm happy to consider it, but I wouldn't know where to start. Like, I don't know anything about politics. But then again, I never knew anything about YouTube either.
That's probably a good thing. That's probably your best attribute, that you don't know anything about politics. Do you know what? The more politicians I meet, the more they drive me absolutely crazy. To be fair, I've got to say that Ben is an exception to that rule. But no, the fact that you don't know a lot about politics, do you know what? I think the best qualification you should have, or the most crucial qualification that you should have to become a politician, is that you know people and you get it. You know what I mean? You get people's everyday problems. You understand the concerns that they have as mums, as dads, as people that might be losing their jobs. You've got to be a human being. And I'm afraid many of these people in Parliament, they're like bloody robots, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think that sometimes it's easier to judge. If I would be in their shoes, you know, I don't know what I would do, because you do have special pressures, I would say, when you're in politics, because everyone's playing politics. So how do you deal with people who are doing throwing dirt at you? So I do understand that it's like a game of chess, and you do need to be realistic. You do need to play the game, essentially, right? Sometimes if you're just gonna I think we would like to think that just doing the right thing is enough, but in reality, sometimes, you know, you do need to play the game a little bit, and I get that. So that's why I think up until now I gave Reform the benefit of the doubt, right? Nigel Farage, I thought, okay, maybe he's just playing the game. He's got a few Muslims there, so people don't call him Islamophobic. But now, sadly, all the influx I'm seeing, I just don't believe it anymore that you could find so many, you know. So I don't know. Can I ask you a question? This is a criticism a lot of people who are against the right. I've seen a few tweets since Rupert Lowe has come out, and he said that, you know, he's launching Restore. So where there was I think a video of Ben Habib saying that, you know what, he's happy to stand down on Advance, and he's urging people from Advance to move to Restore, etc., etc. And there is, you can call them Islamists, who are criticizing Ben and saying, like, look, Ben, you're always in a way sucking up to Rupert Lowe, and you know, you've always wanted him on the team, but Rupert has never shown any interest, and even now it's like Rupert is in his own bubble. So a lot of those kind of people have raised this as a question, and that did make me think as well that actually that's a good point in a way, because I've never seen anything from Rupert, and I'm not saying that I follow all of his content, but I've never seen anything where he's out there endorsing the Advance Party or all that kind of stuff. Maybe he has in the past, I don't know, but I have seen Ben Habib quite a lot, like always, you know, saying that Rupert's an amazing guy, etc., etc. So I don't know, is there something there, or is it just Rupert's really busy, or I don't know?
Look, Lubna, I wish I had the answer. I mean, look, Rupert has spoken on numerous occasions of his high regard for Ben. I think the thing with Ben is he set up Advance with Rupert in mind. They had long discussions. And I think pretty much at the last moment, Rupert decided that he wanted a movement rather than a political party. And I spoke to Ben before Advance was launched, and dare I say it, he even said to me, you know, what do you think? Have I got what it takes to be leader? You know, this was set up for Rupert, and everyone just said, look, Ben, you'd be a wonderful leader. Go for it, you know, and so I think there was an element of disappointment from Ben that Rupert decided to go down the movement route rather than the political party route. But because it was the rape gang inquiry, we kind of get that. And then Rupert sort of hung a carrot out and said, I'll be making a decision on Monday, and that never came. Look, if I'm honest with you, I think Rupert could have handled this better. That's my honest opinion, right?
Yeah, but that's my point, though, because Rupert could have just joined Advance, right? Because if they're doing the same thing, why not just join Advance? It just seems like he wants to do something by himself. Like, I don't know, it just seems a bit odd. And even some of the people that, and I appreciate you do support Advance, but even some of the people that Advance have got in, I mean, Rupert was saying that he doesn't want anyone who's got anything to do with politics to join Restore. So would that mean any existing candidates that Advance have, well, if they merged, I don't know, what would that do? I'm just thinking.
No, I don't know. How would it look like? Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. What would that look like, or what does it look like in Rupert's mind? I honestly don't know. It's a tough one. Rupert, I think, is quite a complex character. Look, he's a man I admire. He's a man that I listen to. He's a man I'd be happy to support. But again, what he mustn't do, I hope Rupert reads the room. I hope he can read the room well, and I hope he reads the room better than Nigel Farage did, because that's one thing that Nigel Farage has never been able to do. He can't read the room. For example, when people have mentioned Tommy to him in the past, not only could he keep his mouth shut, not only could he not do the sensible thing and just, you know, come out of some ambiguous answer that's not going to upset anyone and not going to put himself in any, he had to lie about him. And this is the problem with Nigel. He didn't read the room. And I'm hoping that Rupert doesn't make the same mistakes, that he fails to read the room, that he's got people in his ear who are convincing him that maybe he has, you know, that he's like giving him a godlike complex. I'm hoping that he will unite the people, and the best way to do that will be to join with Ben. We've got 50,000 members all there ready, waiting. We've got some fantastic foundations been built already. Look, it's for the two big guys to sit down and discuss. It's for Rupert and Ben to sit down And I think a lot of people would be very, very disappointed with Rupert if he ignored Ben, the work that he's done, the effort that he's put in, the amount of support that he has. And that, for me, would be a failure to read the room. Would it mean that I wouldn't support Rupert? No, because like most of us, I will put the country before personal feelings about anyone. Even Nigel Farage. Look, if there was a bloody election tomorrow, Lubna, and I mean tomorrow, right? Today's Sunday. If there's an election tomorrow, who am I going to vote for? There's no choice tomorrow. There might be in a year, but tomorrow there's no choice. So we all have to hold our nose now and again and do things politically that we don't particularly love, but we know it's for the betterment of the country. And I'm just hoping that Rupert has read the room, surveyed the situation. Certainly if he's looked at the comments and the temperature on X over the last 24, 48 hours, I'm sure he'll come to the right decision, sit down with Ben and get this sorted out.
But that's the point, though, that, you know, Ben has offered the position before, and had Rupert wanted to take that, we wouldn't have Restore being created. It would not have been created. So it just seems to me that we need to maybe read Rupert, right? That if he's creating Restore, it doesn't seem that he does have an intent to merge with Advance. I mean, then what would be the point of creating Restore? I don't know. So it just seems a bit odd to me. Yeah,
it does. I mean, look, you know, on my live on Friday night, you know, I said, you know, I'm baffled. You know, that was the headline of the live on Friday night. I'm baffled. I was, you know, lost for an explanation, in all honesty, because if Rupert was to completely ignore Ben and just not even really pay him any respect whatsoever, I'm afraid for me it would say a hell of a lot about the man, and it's not good. But I'm hoping upon all hopes that isn't the way that it pans out. Look, Rupert has often spoke very highly about Ben. I know they're in touch with each other pretty much, you know, fairly regularly. The other thing, of course, is that, you know, Elon Musk has kind of confused this as well by supporting both men and encouraging them both to start up new parties. So, you know, I very much doubt we've got the world's richest man watching right now. But if you have, you know, if you should be, Elon, do us a favour, mate. You know, come on, get the men together. Don't tell them both to start up parties and support them both.
You clearly haven't read Elon Musk's book, his biography, which I have read. I spent a whole 6 weeks almost reading his book recently as well. So it's very interesting. It'll give you an insight into his mind, because I was like, you know what, I'm hearing his name a lot, and I've started tweeting a bit on X as well. So maybe it would be interesting to just read about the guy. Who is this man, you know? So I just fear that, yeah, I think what he's doing may work in America. We obviously have a different like mindset here. Similar in terms of Western mindset, but there are differences. And I think that is my fear, that other people mingling with our politics is going to cause more issues, right? You know, so I don't know.
I'm just going to try and set up here. I should have done this before. Let me see if I can. Can you still hear me, Lubna, all right?
Yep, I can, yep.
Let me just set this up. Right, should Rupert and Ben join forces? Yes, no, right? So I'm putting this in the so I've started that poll right now, guys. The poll is now up and running. Should Ben and Rupert join forces? I should have done it ahead of the show, actually, but to be fair, I'm a bit late to the party with that one. But look, we've got a few minutes left before the end of the show. Get voting right now. What do you think? Should Ben and Rupert join forces? If you're a Restore supporter and not a supporter of Ben and Advance, tell us why the answer is no. Carl, thank you. Maria Botwell is the first new candidate for Restore Bridlington. Trust me, 10% on day one. In the polling, Restore going to go through the roof. Plus, Rupert is already in Parliament. Yep, Carl, look, listen, you know, again, if we were united, that would be even stronger, wouldn't it? Right, Lubna, I'm going to thank you so much for coming on tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to say before I let you go, and I'll get through some of the comments?
No. I'm very grateful for the invitation, and I wish everyone well. Thank you.
Always good to see you, Lubna. You take care. Make sure you stay safe. And if you ever need any help, you know where I am. All the best, yeah. Have a great week. Take care. That is the wonderful Candid with Lubna. You know where her channel is. Make sure you get over there and offer us some love and support. Let's have a little look. Let's go through some of the chats. I've done all of the supers at the moment. Ray Bot, ethnically, English should be the majority in government. Can we say British, Ray? That's, Northern Irish, English, Scotch and Welsh. English law is what's being attacked by the globalist criminals. There's another split, isn't it? Even amongst patriots, you've got, there's people in Scotland that would like an independent Scotland, same in Wales. You've got people in England that would like England to be independent. Personally, I've always been a unionist. I believe strongly in the union. That's my own personal thoughts and beliefs, and I'm entitled to them. Yeah, there's one or two people in the comments making some rather unsavoury remarks about Lubna being a Muslim, but she's just got to ignore this stuff, Unfortunately, there are some people out there that are like that, and you won't find anyone that's more patriotic than myself, but, I cannot go along with kicking people like Lubna out. It's just not for me, sorry. Possible reform Tory pact. I won't be supporting reform. Well, Steve, it was a pact before, wasn't it? They're just, it's the Conservative Party under another name, isn't it, really? Let's have a little look as to how that snap poll is doing. Let's have a look. Can I see it? Let's have a look. 85% say yes, 15% say no. That's a very, very interesting split. I was expecting a much higher percentage to say yes. So, right, guys, let's have a little look in the comments. Tell me why some of you are voting no. That's what I want to see. Why are some of you voting no to Rupert and Ben getting together? I don't think there's much chance of that, Ken. I really don't think there's any chance of that, in all honesty. Advance will not win one seat, let alone form a government. Well, Steve, you may be right, but I think you're wrong. I'm not saying they're going to form a government, but, I think you underestimate the depth of feeling and the depth of anger amongst the people in the UK. They need a party to vote for. At the moment, many of them feel that it's reform, but they're soon going to learn that that's just another mistake, I'm afraid. Well, Rupert has just posted that Restore has hit 50,000 members. Well, that's magnificent. There's going to be a big crossover there. I would imagine, half, probably half belong to Advance as well. Okay, so this is exactly the sort of thing that why would any Englishman follow Ben, a brown man? Mate, do me a favour. If you're subscribed to my channel, please unsubscribe. And I'd prefer if you didn't watch me, quite honestly, because it's comments like this that just get us nowhere, right? Unbelievable. I'm not going to ban you for saying that, right? Because you're entitled to have your opinion. But it's wrong, right? Ben is a patriot. He's got red, white and blue running through his veins. And I can tell you now, he's done more for this country than you ever will do. Hey. Well, this is the thing, right? Even if you didn't want Restore and Advance to amalgamate, would you not want Ben as part of the party? Which would seem crazy to me. Or is he too brown for some of you people? Is that what it is? Is Ben a little bit too brown for some of you? Well, the lack of democracy in Restore might be a stumbling block. And this is the thing with some of the ethno-nationalists out there. They'll now, because I've just said that, they'll focus hatred on me. They'll actually hate me more than the real enemy. They'll say, oh, Thorpe is a traitor. He wants a man that's not pure white to become Prime Minister, or he follows a man that isn't 100% English. And some of those people will be less English than me, because I am 100% English. Trace my roots back 10 generations. In fact, my family's roots go so far back, and guess what? The buggers all come from the south of England. We never even moved to the north. Apart from me great-great-great-grandfather, who emigrated to America, stayed for a year and came home. I'm a member of Advance, but if they don't merge, we have no chance. Yeah, there is no rush. We do have 3 years to get together. People, one of my friends has just messaged me this, and he says, you know, you seem to have had a few ethno-nats on comments tonight's live. You know, look, the bottom line is, if that's the way you feel, you're entitled to your opinions and you're entitled to your feelings. And I try and respect everyone. But let me tell you something now, you know, if you think you're going to form a political party that's going to win a general election in this country, good luck with that, because it's never going to happen, is it? So what is your option? Come on, lads. I mean, let's be sensible. What is your option? Is Richard on tonight? No, I think Richard might be doing his own later. I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to Richard today. No, I've just read that one. Where are we? As long as the college stays. Yeah, see, it could be people from Advance changing or deciding not to vote for an amalgamation because they fear they would lose the college. At the moment, the poll is running at, let's have a little look, 87% saying yes, 13% saying no. I'll tell you what I do, guys. We've been live for an hour and 28 minutes, and I'm not ready to finish yet. So what I'm going to do, I am going to throw open the floor to you guys. Let me just catch up on this. Thank you, Nelly. Really appreciate that. Ben would make a greater PM, says Steve. Thank you, Steve. Steve is also a new member. Really appreciate that. Zia Yusuf has said Reform may join a coalition. From Charlie, yeah, but I tell you what, Charlie, I think he's talking more of the Tories than anyone else, or they do fear Rupert Lowe. They know all about Rupert, don't they? Of course they know about Rupert because, well, they were the ones that called the police on him. I think I'll throw open the show. Sunday evening, why not? Let's put a link in the chat there. So if you want to hop on tonight, the link is in the chat. You'd be more than welcome. You don't have to agree with me. You're more than welcome to disagree with me, as long as you're reasonable and polite. We can have a debate. This is something that, let me just bring Charlie in. Charlie, good evening, mate. That was quick.
Yeah, mate. How are you? You all right?
I'm very good, Charlie. Good to hear from you again. Everything okay?
Yeah. First of all, I just wanted to apologise for the other day, because I know you clipped my little rant that I had with you the other day, and I was reading through some of the comments, and a few people were not happy with my language. So I just wanted to apologise for that.
No, look, Charlie, you're passionate. You know, I mean, I do the same. I don't tend to F and Jeff on my channel, but every now and again I let one rip, and that's what you did. So it's no problem.
Well, you have to, don't you? Because otherwise, people are not going to listen. Otherwise, and I think we're all grown men here. And if you don't like it, then this ain't the channel. First of all, I just wanted to say I would listen to Zia Yusuf this morning on GB News, and he didn't rule out. He said that at the moment, they're hoping Reform will get a majority government, but he said if the worst comes to the worst and a Liberal Democrats, Labour and Green coalition came together, that he wouldn't rule out doing a pact with the right. Now, when he says that, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's going to join with the." Oh,
no, I'm still there. You carry on, mate.
Oh yeah, no. I was just going to say, I don't think he's talking about the Conservative Party. I think he would be talking about a Restore Advance coalition. That's the only coalition I would accept if there was a coalition that I would vote for. If I would say this out loud, if Reform form a coalition with the Tories, they're not getting my vote.
It's a bit presumptive. He's being a bit presumptive, isn't he? Thinking that after what happened, that Rupert would potentially, do a deal. I don't think that Rupert will touch Reform with a barge pole, personally.
I think it would have to be. There may have to be some conditions. Maybe Rupert, if he does speak to Nigel, will say, "Listen, I don't want to work with Zia, and I don't want to work with Richard Tice." There may be some thing in there where they don't work. I don't know. There may be something in there, because I think, like I said the other day, country has to come before egos. My opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
If it means that Zia and Richard are not in government, then that's how it'll have to be.
Yeah.
Because I don't care who it is. I couldn't give a crap if it was ET in his spaceship that came down and was Prime Minister, to turn our country around. We just need to turn the country around before it's too late, because this is our last chance. And every single party on the right, UKIP, Advance, Restore and Reform, they're all saying this is our last chance. There's 11 parties on the right, 11 parties.
Yeah.
And they're all splitting the vote. And that's how last time we got a left government, because the Tory vote collapsed, and so people didn't feel like there was another party to go to. But they didn't think Reform. And in a way, I do understand where people are coming from when they say Reform have turned into the Tories 2.0. I do hope he's only bringing over the good Tories. I do hope that. And I hope he's not going to allow a load of wet, lefty, World Economic Forum Tories to come in. But I genuinely hope that if they have to do a coalition in the future, it would be a Restore UK, Advance UK and Reform UK. I hope that.
I'd love to be, Charlie, I'd love to be a fly on the wall on negotiations. Can you imagine now? Can you imagine Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, sitting around the table with Nigel Farage, Zia Yusuf and Richard Tice after everything that's gone on? Blimey.
Jesus Christ, get the nukes ready, because it would go off, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you what, I'd pay to live stream that.
No, but listen, even if I was a negotiator, if people think my language is bad the other night, then you wouldn't want to see me on a table with all of them, because it wouldn't be pretty, and I would tell them to sort their lives out. We need a coalition. We need to close that gap of a left wing movement coming in and allow taking over the country. We need to close that gap. The whole of the right need to unite under one party. That's the only way we're going to get our country back.
Do you know
That's
what,
my
Charlie?
humble
When I was a kid, my dad, bless his heart, he used to say to me, the British are the best when they got their backs to the wall, and our backs now are to the wall, so we need to rise to our best.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think, well, they say the British people never lose, and I hope that this will be another example that the British will never fall. We will fight to the very end, and we will win our country back. You know, and that's the we haven't got an alternative. That's the only option.
Yeah.
You know,
Charlie,
we've got one way out. So.
You talk a lot of sense, and it's always good to hear from you, mate. Have a good week. Stay safe.
You, mate.
And
Take care.
I'll see you
best,
soon.
Mate.
All the best to you, mate. All the best. Steve, you're up next. How you doing, Steve? Can you hear me?
All right, Paul. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I can hear you, mate. Yep. How you doing? What's on your mind?
Well, I'm struggling with a lot of echo. Oh, I think it's gone now.
Give it a try.
I'm just amazed at... Oh, I can hear my own echo now.
Try again.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how Rupert Lowe has come out of this new party. And I don't trust his motives.
What do you think those motives might be? Because you're not the only one to say that. I myself, I mean, well, a lot of people are wondering, but what do you think's behind it?
Well, I think he wants to dance to his own tune. I think he's more in love with himself than anything else. And I'm convinced that he wants to do away with the college and he wants to cut all ties with Tommy. There's something in the background that I just don't trust.
I mean, look, you know, cutting ties with Tommy, would that be a sensible move? In my opinion, cutting ties with Tommy's movement, United Kingdom, would be a big mistake because, you know, it has a huge backing, huge support. Look, the truth is with Tommy, whether you like him or whether you don't, and I happen to like his views and I like, you know, most of the things that he says. The thing is, the mainstream media have toxified him to the point where, well, that's one of the reasons why Nigel Farage has never had anything to do with him, because he knows that he's toxic within the mainstream media, and he's always believed that it's going to be bad news. Whether Rupert's come to that same decision or not, I don't know. I mean, I've never spoken to Rupert. I never met him, so I don't honestly know.
Well, I'm still getting tons and tons of feedback on this and echo.
Okay.
I don't think it's feasible for me to continue with it.
Okay, mate. Thank you so much. I'll tell you what it is. Just so you know, next time, if you go into the back end down the bottom there, you'll see that you've got a reduce echo thing. If you do that next time, you should be able to sort that out. Thanks for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it. All the best to you. Jack, you're up next, mate. Good evening. How you doing?
Right.
How you doing, Jack?
Right.
Right, Jack obviously can't hear me. Foxy lady, how you doing, hun? You okay?
Yeah, morning, evening, Paul.
Good evening.
How are you? I've just travelled back from Denton and Gorton, supporting Nick Buckley over there. It was really good. Nick is absolutely a superb candidate, and you know he knows his stuff. He's a local bloke, and you know at the end of the day, that's what the people there need. Also, I spoke to a couple of guys there. Sorry, I've lost my voice because I was talking to so many people. And, you know, it's really weird, Paul. When I spoke to this quite left-wing chap, It looked as if his eyes were glazed over. He couldn't answer a question. He couldn't put an argument up. And when I'm very calm, when I was talking to him, you know, he was goading for an argument, you know. And I'm thinking, hey, mate, this is your country we're fighting for. You know, but they don't seem to understand that, you know. So after the amazing atmosphere down at London, to have the news, because the news broke for us on Saturday morning when we were there, And it was, it was a weird feeling. It was like after the euphoria of, the conference in London, it just felt very weird. And we all of us, the whole group of people that were there at the Denton Village Hall, just outside the Village Hall, they were really despondent. Now, I did hear Richard, bless him. He's a very passionate guy. We love Richard, Papa Smurf. We love him to pieces. Yeah, but what I've said is we need to reserve judgment until we find out what the plan is, because these two guys are so powerful. I don't mean powerful as in power hungry. I just mean, they've got a great following. They're talking on the same hymn sheet, and there's no reason why they cannot make a merger. I think it's stronger because I do believe they come with different demographics. Rupert comes with a more middle class demographic. So I know I'm not very political. You'll have to bear with me. Okay. Rupert comes with that. UTK is a very working class, man on the street, boots on the ground type demographic. And then you've got Ben and Advance UK. Now I'm 100% behind Advance UK, 100. But I think if we can get all those demographics, joining forces, the other guys haven't got a look in, because people can see that there's change needs to happen in this country. So obviously I'm not political, but they will be an unstoppable force, those two.
I believe they would be. Do you think they'll come together? Are you hopeful they'll come together?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think? I mean, I was baffled by the announcement.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that my concern that Rupert is just going to go off on his own is, won't be justified, and that I'm wrong. But that is the fear, isn't it? I'm hoping they come together.
I don't think he will, because like I said, Ben's worked hard and the college have worked very hard to put the structures in place. It takes a long time to put structures in place. And Ben's been working on this for a while, and Rupert's known that he's working on it. I think Rupert had to gather that other demographic together, and with the child rape gang inquiry, that has massively bolstered Rupert's popularity in that respect. So I just think it's a matter of timing, and I think we should all just reserve judgment until we know what the plan is. And then we can make our decision, have our opinions. But you mustn't just go out there and have a go at Rupert for doing this, and then having to go at Ben for doing that. It just causes arguments and infighting, and we don't need that.
You're right, and it's very good advice. I think, look, that is what we've got to do. We've all got to sit back, wait patiently. The ball, as I said the other night when I interviewed Ben, the ball is in Rupert's court. Let's see what he has to say, and hope that it's something positive. But well done for getting up there and supporting Nick, by the way.
It was bloody freezing. I tell you, it was so cold. We were stood there for 5 hours, and that's why I'm in bed early, because I'm absolutely shattered, Paul. But I will keep on supporting wherever I can. Good luck, and well done for you, because lots of people listen to you. Lots of people see the guests that you've got on. Bless Lubna. She's an absolute superstar. We love her to pieces. So, you take care and have a lovely day. And I'll pop on another live stream another day.
See you again soon. Take care.
All right.
Stay safe.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Nick, Glenn is up next. Glenn, good evening, mate. How you doing? Glenn, can you hear me? You just frozen there, Glenn. Let me just remove you and bring you back in. Hold on. Looks like Glenn needs to put 2 bob in the meter. Let's have a look. Glenn, are you there? Let's try and remove him once more and bring him back in. Funny that, Glenn, because it was working all the time you was in the green room, and now you've gone off. I'll tell you what, mate. I'll move you out. Come back in. There you go. I've removed Glenn. Let's get through 1 or 2 of the supers. Where did I get to? Carl's already out, didn't I? Andrew, I think I read this one, did I? So Rupert worked with Ben to make Advance UK, bringing in grassroots to build the party, and yet now he wants to bring in people who have nothing to do with politics. Yeah, I read that one. I'm sure I did. Thank you, Nelly. Thank you so much, Steve. Ben would make a greater PM. Steve's a new member. Yeah, I've read that one and that one. Yeah. Cole, totally out of order what he has just said about a brown man. Yeah, wrong. Look, this is not the channel for those people if that's the way they feel. Debbie says, I'm 100% behind Ben and I trust his decision. Let's give Glenn another go. Glenn, good evening, mate.
Hey up, buddy. You okay?
That's better. I've got you now.
Yeah.
Did you put 50p in the meter?
No. You know what? My dad just phoned me.
Oh, okay. What's on your mind, Glenn? Good to see you, mate.
All right, buddy. On my mind is I was watching Tusi, and he was saying attacks are imminent. That Tommy's had to leave the country with his family. Blah blah blah. And I was just thinking, you, me, everybody is going, we want him to lead us, this to lead us, but is it too late?
Well, look, I haven't seen Tusi tonight. I don't know.
Right,
I don't know what he said. Just enlighten us a little bit more. He said that we know Tommy's left the country. We know there's
Tommy had from MI6 and MI5, whatever. That it was imminent that he was going to be unalived, along with his family, and he's had to leave. And Tusi said he put things in what's the word? He might have to go because it was ISIS that put stuff on him that I don't know, mate.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't. I didn't see the Tusi show.
Yeah, I know you can't comment, mate. But
I don't know where Tommy is. I mean, I don't think anyone knows. A few people that are
the less the better, to be fair.
Yeah, that are fairly close to him. Sort of like, I don't think there's been a lot of what's the right word? A lot of contact recently.
Yeah.
And if he's, if he's got those sort of threats, he's probably just doing his own thing. I saw a quick video. He was at an airport. Someone said it was Malaga. Someone else said it was Alicante. Well, if it's Alicante, that's not far from me, but I've not heard anything from him. So I honestly don't know, and that's the truth. Is it too late?
Yeah.
I mean,
is it too late? Are we all going on about we want him as a leader, her as a leader, him as a leader? Is it too late? Is it imminent that it's going to kick off in the UK big time?
Well, I think the my honest opinion to that one, Glenn, it's a good question. Is look, we're sitting on a powder keg, right? It could kick off
we are. Yeah,
time.
You're dead right.
I hope it doesn't. It could kick off at any time. It's going to be. It could even be something that is quite small that is the spark that sets it off.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunately a possibility that we're having to live with, or you're having to live with back home. On a broader sense, is it too late for the UK? Well, I tell you what, mate, it's too late if we don't get our acts together.
Yes, it is. You're dead right.
I've said it for the last. I've been saying it for the last 2 years. We all need to unite. I mean, there are people in the chat tonight, Glenn, right, worrying about Ben Habib being a little bit too brown, right?
Oh my God, Paul, don't even go there.
Well, my question to those people is, and I'm going to use some bad language now, what the actual fuck are they talking about? I mean, go and set up your own political party. If you think Ben's a little bit too brown, go set up your own political party and see how you get on with it. See how many seats you win at the next election.
Exactly.
On the ticket of Ben Habib's Sue Brown. Let's see how many votes you get.
I'm not going to swear, but what are they on about? He's too brown.
You know, and this is what pisses me off. There's people
it does me,
more
mate.
worried about Ben being a slight shade of brown, right, than there are of winning our country, getting together. We need. I tell you what, we need, Glenn. You've got me on right now, brother. We need the Nick Buckley of this world. We need the Ben Habibs. We need the Rupert Lowe's.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And do you know what we could have done? We could have done with the Matt Goodwins and the Suella Bravemans and the Robert Jenricks. They've gone buggering off to the Tory party, Mark. So they'll do naffle.
No, they'll do.
They'll do naffle, the same as they did the last time when they had the goddamn chance. They've been in government for years, done nothing. Now,
but I'm telling you now, Paul, if all these lot don't do something, it's going to end up really, really bad, mate.
Yeah.
You know it is.
I know it is. I know it is. We all know it is. We've all got eyes, mate. We've all got eyes.
It's going to end up fucking really, really bad.
It's going to be an absolute disaster, and that is why I'm praying. I'm praying and praying and praying. Look, as Cara
you and me both, brother.
Country before egos. All of these.
Oh my God!
Need to get together.
Oh, this has never happened in the UK, has it? This. Something like this, Paul, has never, ever happened in the UK. And now it is.
It's happening. It's
happening.
It's on our streets.
Happening.
I mean, as Jane says, what about our Sikhs? They're patriotic. I tell you what, have a run down towards Slough when the World Cup's on, right?
Yeah.
And see how the Sikh community support the England football team. They'll all be walking around in their England shirts, etc., etc. And by the way, I mentioned this the other night. Let me tell you one thing that I will say, because we're always hearing, and we often raise our eyebrows. I mean, Gary Lineker was at it again yesterday, saying, "Oh, migrants do jobs that no one else is prepared to do."
But for God's sake,
do you know what? Ben?
I'll
tell you something, right? Our NHS, if you took away all the migrants that are in our NHS, it'd be even more screwed than it already is. Now, when I say migrants, they're actually immigrants. They're here legally, right?
Yes,
You've got to be sensible about this.
Yeah, and they're working in the NHS.
We have to be sensible about this.
We have to be so sensible. And Paul, you know, it's so hard to cut between sensible and illegal and oh God, where do you start, mate? I tell you what, you're one brave man.
I forgot about that.
you are, you're one brave man, mate. And I've followed you for 3-4 years now, if I'm being honest. And people like yourself, if it wasn't for you, I don't think the majority of the public in the UK would know about what's going on, mate. Seriously.
Well, a lot of people wouldn't, you know, and I think that's one of the reasons why. I think that's one of the reasons why my channel has absolutely 100% been ghosted to a large degree. To a large degree, I would say it's been ghosted on social media. But look, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is what I do.
I know you do.
I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about home. I'm passionate about the people back at home.
Yeah, and people like me are passionate about it too, Paul.
Exactly. I know you are. I know you are, Glenn, and that is why we do what we do. We're all in it together.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
And my message tonight is to everyone, is to, you know, the Ruperts and the Nicks and everyone else out there.
Yeah.
Please join up.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Help us. Please help us. Please.
Yeah. Bring us together.
Please. Yeah. Together. We've got to be together, Paul. We have to be, don't we? Else it's not going to work.
Let me tell you something. Let me just read this out. Nicola, thank you so much. We're just going to end. Tommy threatened. Maya is threatened. Who's next? If I got a warning, I'd go nowhere. We have to stop running.
Well, that's not the case, Paul, is it? Because would they really stop running with the family and the kids and the mothers and the fathers? Would they really stand and say, I'm not going anywhere?
Some people may do, some people may not. Look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not so much worried about the threats that I get. I'm more worried about the police. I'm more worried about the government. I'm not worried so much about, what someone's going to do to me. I'm more worried about what the government's going to do, because we all know what they're like.
I mean, even me talking to you now, I could go and knock on the door just for...
Yeah. Look, listen, we was talking about this to someone earlier on. Yeah. With the government now, the punishment is the process. They put you through a process, even though they know you've done nothing wrong.
Exactly.
They put you through a horrible process that makes you and your family uncomfortable, and that is the punishment.
Yeah.
But Glenn, before we end up tonight, I was going to tell you what I would do if
okay.
I would like to get Ben, Rupert, and I've got a list of about 50 people. I won't read the list out because it's far too long. No. I've got a list of about 50 people that I want to get in a room, get around the table, and try and get an agreement together on the understanding that, look, we're never going to agree on anything. It's okay not to agree on everything.
Exactly.
It's no good walking away from the table because you don't like 1% of what's been said.
No, you're so right, Paul. We need
grown-ups.
Grown-ups, and we need everyone else's opinion on everything. And between all those opinions, surely we'll get what we want in the UK eventually. Yeah. But what we've got now is very, very scary, mate. As you know. It's very scary. Just in my little town, Paul, all I want to say is 1:30 in the morning, there was 20, 30 lads. I'm not going to say, all in black, all with the clavers on.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were doing a recce on the town. One of them had got I don't know if I should say this, he'd got an Arabic tattoo on one of his cheeks. If that means anything to you, I don't know. No, but anyway, I'm not going to say anymore. And that's just in my town where I live.
And that's going to concern people, isn't it? It's obviously going to...
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. Of course it is, yeah.
Mate, Glenn, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Have a good, safe week. Try and stay positive.
I will do, buddy.
I look forward to seeing you again.
You too. I'll talk to you again, mate.
Yeah, take care, mate. All the best, Glenn.
And you. Take care.
There's a long-term viewer, Glenn. Julie, thank you so much. What will we do when we can't vote our way out? Well, that is the concern, Julie. I'm going to end up on this tonight. I tell you now, I don't believe that this is anywhere near as complicated as it seems. It's actually, for me, I always try and simplify things. And this could be very simply and easily resolved. We just need the will, the determination, and, people have got to want to do it. They've got to put egos to one side. And like I said, they've got to get round a table. Potentially, we've got the world's richest man in the background that may be willing, or I believe is probably willing to help and back us financially. But without unity, without a will, a willingness, and the ability. So as I said, the big problem with a right is you can agree, you can get 2 or 3 people in the room with the same views essentially, and they'll disagree on 1% of things, and that's it. They're off. They want everything their own way. Paul, why do you only answer those that paid the cash? We can't all afford to give money, mate, but we have valid concerns. Scruffs, listen, let me tell you, I've had just under 4,000 messages tonight. I could spend the whole show just reading out messages and having no guests. I could do that. I read as many of the non-super chats as I possibly can, but when people are kind enough to pay to support the channel, naturally their comments always come up starred and I read them out. So it is what it is. And I've just, read your message out. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Paul, why is Rupert not answering Ben? Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Kelly, I think Rupert is going to show his true colours. But it's going to be very interesting, isn't it? It's going to be very, very interesting. Why does there never seem to be any collaboration between the farmers and UTK? Crafty, what a great question. And I'm going to give you my answer to that. It's just my opinion, right? And I'm going to be straight. And this is a perfect example why I talk about the inability to unify. So in the past, I've had a lot of messages from people involved with the farmers' side of bits and pieces who I support 100%. They want PR. They want us to go to their events. They want to come on the channel. They want to talk about it. They want to vent their anger. They want to vent their frustrations and put their case and cause over, which I'm happy to do. As soon as you mention the UTK rally, they go quiet. Not all of them, of course, not all of them, but a great many of them, including some of the organisers and organisations behind it. So they want to be part of us and they want us to be together when it involves the farmers, but when it involves the UTK rally, then that's not quite for them. Sorry, lads, it doesn't quite work that way. We're either in it together or we ain't. And as I said, that's not having to dig at all of them because many of them are at the rallies, but not on an official basis, if you like. The farmers aren't officially represented at the rally. Maybe we're not good enough for them. I don't know. But again, I'm just telling you the truth. That's my view. They wanted us. They wanted us. But then when we wanted them, they wasn't necessarily there. Just bear with me 1 second because I've got I must take this call. Right, so that was Richard. He's coming on. He's going to hop on. If you want some fireworks, you might want to hang on. Elon's going to back us. I believe that he would. I do believe that he would. Oh, Julie, I hope you are okay, darling. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, if people are looking for perfection, they're wasting their time, aren't they? You're never going to have anything that's perfect.
Turn that down, Julie, a bit more, hon, will you?
Hello, mate. How you doing, Richard?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
A lot of people been asking where you are, asking if you've calmed down and all the rest of it.
Listen, I'm perfectly calm because, as always, Paul, I have a cunning plan.
All right, you're Baldrick. Go on, Baldrick.
I am Baldrick. I have a cunning plan, Blacker. Yeah, basically, I think it's what Howard Cox was saying. I think this is the answer to the conundrum that we're in, because obviously there's a lot of very valid reasons why I reacted like I reacted, and I still stand by them 100%. The Ethnonat stuff, lack of interest in Northern Ireland, etc., right? But putting all that to one side, I think probably the best way, this is my opinion, right? If I was in leadership in advance, again, I have the privilege of not having any position in advance. That's why I can say what the hell I can without any consequences, Paul. Do you know what I mean? Apart from a few people giving me some grief, but I'm a big enough boy to be able to take all that. But I think the key is that, and this is what Howard said very, very clearly. If you listen to what Howard said he thinks the parties should be co-joined. So in other words, they're Siamese twins. They're joined at the hip, but they've got two different brains. And I think that's actually a very, very good idea. So it's what they used to do in Northern Ireland. I think I put a post out about it earlier on. And basically what it means is it's kind of an electoral pact, but a little bit more formal. So Advance stand, let's say, for example, Rupert's not interested in Scotland, Northern Ireland, the Wales. Advance stand loads of candidates in those. Now, this is me just talking on my head. So if anybody's watching this, please do not take a clip of this and pretend to believe that I'm speaking on behalf of Advance, because I don't. But this is just an idea. We're just brainstorming. Because that solves the problem. Because believe you me, there's a lot of people been coming to me. A lot of people support exactly what I've said. Obviously, it's like anything. When you're outspoken, not everybody has the testicular fortitude to basically say the sort of things that I say, but a lot of people are thinking them and not saying them. And it solves that problem, Paul, because it means the beautiful party that we have all taken part in forming, that we were so excited about last Saturday, does not get swallowed up by something that we know very little about. And let's just be honest, that's a big issue. So it means you get the benefit of the two parties coming together, but the two parties retain their specific identities as two different units, but working together, completely aligned. So they're not going to be standing candidates against each other. Where they've got common policy, that's absolutely fantastic. Where there's a diversion, well, that needs to be discussed. And it also means, I'll be honest with you, Paul, that Advance aren't dropping the pants to Rupert Lowe. I mean, because that's a bit how I feel at the minute. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, I think, really, really want Advance to work, want the country to work. And if they'd have wanted to be, fully engaged and involved with Restore, they would have joined, Restore. And a lot of people haven't joined Restore, they're just in Advance. So to me, it's the perfect solution. Now, again, obviously, people in the comments will let me know what they think or what they don't think. But I think it's a way to get round the problem that we're facing at the minute. And it gives everybody what they want. Rupert gets, if you remember, Rupert said he wanted to set up some sort of umbrella that all the parties could coalesce around. But again, it's just an idea, Paul. It's an idea that I think could work.
What have you been up to today, mate? Because I've been trying to get hold of you earlier, and as usual, you've been a bit elusive. I often joke with Richard that it'd be easier to get an audience with the Pope than it is getting hold of him on the phone.
Well, before I tell you what I've been up to, what do you think of the idea?
Yeah, very good, mate. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Richard. I am listening to you with one ear and reading the comments with the other. But
I knew you weren't listening.
No, I'm listening. I mean, look, yeah. I mean, could that work? Yeah, of course it could work. I mean, personally, I'd rather see a proper amalgamation. Why
is that? Why would you like to see a proper amalgamation when you don't exactly know who the? Because look, if you listen to what Connor Tomlinson said on his video yesterday, right? He was looking for surrender terms. Simple as that.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you why, Richard. I'll give you the answer. You asked me the question. I'll give you the answer.
Okay.
The answer is, hold on. I'll give you my answer. The answer is because it's easier for the public to understand.
Well, I think that, again, is very derogatory to the public, Paul.
Well, mate, I don't mind being derogatory to the public because I'll tell you why. Apart from the people that watch our channels and that are switched on, politically, the British public are a bit bloody stupid.
Okay. Right, let's
even registered to vote.
Yeah, let's say, well, exactly that. That's I mean, somebody that I have a lot of respect for said to me the other day. I'm not going to say who it is. It's nobody would know them anyway. But somebody said that I have a lot of respect for. Said to me the other day that basically the British public are getting what they deserve in terms of they voted for these numpties for flipping years. Exactly. Now, I understand what you're saying with that, Paul, but I think that. The people that make a difference, we only need 5-6 million people to make a massive difference in this country. 10 million changes the country forever, right? Now, I don't think the people are that stupid. We've had electoral pacts before. We had one in my own constituency in Northern Ireland. It's very, very simple for people to understand. There's only one candidate you can vote for. So if that candidate stands in your area and they represent the values that you believe, then you vote for them. So I don't think it's that complicated. And the benefit of this, Paul, is having things co-joined as opposed to amalgamated. In fact, I'll be honest, if it's amalgamated with some of the people around Rupert Lowe, I won't be involved. I'll be gone out of politics. So everyone will be very pleased about that. But if I won't, actually, what I'll do, I'll keep the pledge going. And I'll be a pain in the arse to everybody. But the, you know, if an amalgamation happens, you literally are jumping into bed with people that you don't know on the first day.
The tweet that you spoke about, the post on X from Connor Tomlinson, I think I might have read it, but remind me, what did it say?
No, it was a full. You've got to watch the video for it. Paul. Do you know why you can't get me, Paul? Because I'm actually going into this in granular detail, mate. That's why you can't get me. You've got to watch these things in depth, mate. You've got to listen to what.
Richard, it's been Valentine's weekend. I've had things to deal with.
What's that? What's that?
Places, exactly. I've had places to go. I've had a woman to keep happy, and
well, don't tell your wife, Paul. Anyway, getting back to politics. The reality of the situation.
You nearly said politics, then, didn't you? You might have been right the first time.
It is politics, mate. It is politics. It is politics. Now, anyone watching us will go, "What are those two on having around each other?" Me and Paul are having, you know, we just wind the life out of each other all the time, anyway. So there's nothing malicious in it from either side. But no, I think getting onto the idea that I'm talking about, that's a solution. I'm going to tell you now, a lot of people in Northern Ireland are extremely concerned about Restore, right? Because there's been no interest in Northern Ireland. Their Restore party is called Restore Britain. We're not in Britain, unfortunately. So, you know, Northern Ireland, I always, listen, I'm in the same way that Ben has adopted the United Kingdom as his home country. I've adopted Northern Ireland as my home country, right? And I have the same passion for Northern Ireland and for unionism and for maintaining the link between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom, as Ben has for the whole of the UK. And that's why I can, totally identify with Ben's passionate love for the UK. So I am very concerned about this, Paul. And I think, look, again, I'm not on the college. Actually, now I wish I was on the college, because I wish I had a position to basically be able to, you know, if there was a college meeting, say, actually, you know, this is the concerns and these are why these concerns are there. Obviously, you know, I can talk to Ben and I can talk to other people in leadership anytime I want, you know, which is a great position to be in. But I genuinely think a full amalgamation would not be the best solution for the country or for advanced UK members, for that matter. Which you've got to think about this as well, Paul. How many people? Okay, I know there's a lot of people in the comments. Yeah, let's get on, let's amalgamate. How many people are going, well, actually, I am concerned about the things that Richard is saying. He's not bullshitting. It's true that there is issues with. I mean, when Steve Laws and people in Patriotic Alternative, I think, I could be wrong, but I think Alex Ewbury, who the little guy that dresses Hitler and goes to the neo-Nazi rallies, these people are coming behind Rupert, saying Rupert is our leader. You know, we've got a bit of a problem, Paul, because I tell you what, they didn't come behind Ben and they didn't come behind Tommy Robinson. It's a very good reason for that. There was no ethno-nats around Ben or Tommy Robinson, right? Now, okay, like I say, you know, bringing the right together and all that, great stuff, if it's on the right terms. Because I'll tell you something now, Paul. You were talking about the British public, right? The British public are not as stupid as people think, and they will not fall for a party that has links to neo-Nazis and hasn't basically. If I'd have launched a party right this weekend and I had neo-Nazis supporting me and patting me on the back saying you're my leader, I would have made a very public statement disavowing them, saying we want nothing to do with these people. In fact, I would have made a Richard Tice type statement saying we'll have nothing to do with that lot. That hasn't happened, Paul. That hasn't happened. All you can see is a tumbleweed, blowing across the staging. Now, again, I'm all for getting something done, right? If we can work with Restore, then sure. If that's possible as some sort of a let's say co-joined, which I thought was an absolutely amazing idea that Alex, Rupert, my head's away with it. Howard Cox. I got it right third time lucky. That's what Andrew just woke up. Howard Cox said was an absolutely fantastic idea. I think Howard Cox's idea was absolutely genius. You know, so that's where I'm going. I'm not in this for power or to be liked. I'm in this to try and get the best result for the country. And I know a lot of people hate what I said. A lot of people don't like me. I don't care, Paul. Like I said to you on Friday night, my country's at stake. And I still think what's done is very sharp. I still think it's wrong. And I still think we shouldn't drop our pants just at the first opportunity. We certainly shouldn't jump into bed with Rupert before we know exactly what he's about.
Well, I mean, there's the thing, Richard. You know, it's all going to play out surely within the next, you know,
yeah, of course,
week,
yeah, of
10
course.
days, 2 weeks,
yeah,
you know, max. I would have thought.
But I think there has to be that you know, if you're going into any negotiation, there has to be a setting out of the red lines and of where you stand. And I think Howard set those out brilliantly. If you look at Howard's tweet, he set them out brilliantly. He said exactly what I think we were all thinking.
Do you know what? That tweet came through to me just as I was going live.
Right. Okay.
So
okay. Well, you need to play that. I tell you what, Paul. See if you can get that up now and play it now. Play it now to the audience, because then they'll understand what it is I'm going on about. Because it is really, really important, that tweet that Howard made. And it went out this morning, so make sure it's the same one. And it was basically about the two parties being co-joined. I think it's about 2 minutes long. But you know what, Paul? This is so important. That's why I'm so passionate about this, because this is the future of our country. And of course, I want it to work. And of course, if you can find a way of working with Restore, and it's a sensible way, great. But just one more point on working with Restore, right? As opposed to being swallowed up by them and you know, surrendering to Conor Tomlinson. The working with Restore, if you get swallowed up, there's no way back, Paul. So if Restore turn out to be not what we think they are, right? Or if we turn out to be a real problem for them, it causes massive problems. Whereas if they are co-joined, right? So in other words, they agree a pact, they agree to work together, and it's not rocket science. It happens all the time. It's a very, very, it's happened in Northern Ireland scores of times. If they do that, the left do it as well. The left do it all the time as well. If they do that in a semi-official basis, that could be an absolute winner. Now, if they're not up for that, then you've got to ask massive questions. Why, Paul?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be a very interesting forthcoming week, 10 days. You know, I don't know. I mean, Ben has said that he'll be speaking to the college within the next few weeks. I'm hoping it will be a little bit quicker than that. We've obviously got a lot to consider and think about. Ben's
coming on my show at 4 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm gonna ask some very, very hard questions. I'm gonna be honest with you, Paul. It's gonna be a very, very interesting interview, because I'm going to ask him all the questions that I've been discussing, you know, on my channels, and you know, it has to say there's been a lot of hate put in my direction would be an understatement. But I don't give two hoots. I don't care.
I tell you what, Richard. I'll say this: he don't shy away from anything, Ben. You know, I said to him yesterday before our interview, you know, is there anything that's out of bounds? And he said, no, whatever you want, let's get it out in the open, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, so
and that's the thing, Paul. And that's, you know, look, my loyalty is to Ben, right? It's not to politically, obviously, my loyalty is primarily to the country, but it's not to these other guys. I don't know them. I don't like what they've done, and I don't trust them. That's just my thoughts on it, right? So yes, find a way of working together, which, you know, again, I'd be doing it through gritted teeth, you know, but if it's for the betterment of the country, let's do it. And if it can work in that way, let's do it. But I'm certainly not for an amalgamation. I will be out of party politics, and I'll be a voice in the wilderness, flipping. If you think I'm bad now, wait till I'm not involved in any political party.
M. Tunnicliffe, who's that dodgy bloke he's photographed with there? Look, even all great to chat last Saturday, Richard. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. I can't see any of these, by the way, Paul, because I'm on my phone, so I can't see any of the chat.
Okay, this one says you can't see the chat, no?
No, mate, it's probably a good job, isn't it?
So this one says, this is from Andrew. He says, Paul, this is for you. Love you, my brother. No, he says, Paul, this is for Richard. Love you, my brother.
I thought it was going to be, Paul, this is for you. Love you, my brother. Get Richard off your channel. Apparently, there's a petition going around to get me banned from your channel, mate. You know what I mean?
Is that right? Is that serious?
I'm only joking.
So let me know who it is. I'll sign it.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, you love the controversy, mate. You know it.
Phil, Richard was 100% correct about reform. Do you know what, mate? I like to give
That's why I'm not bending on this one, mate.
No, I like to give everyone a fair crack at a whip, and people haven't got to agree with me. I don't have to agree with them. I'm not someone that wants to invent phony outrage. We just discuss, we have a good time, and we just take it as it comes.
I tell you what, before I came on, my wife said to me, she says, "Just you be careful there." So I hope I'm going to say, have I been careful enough? She said I'm still a bit loud, but I haven't been that controversial, so that's all right. But look, Paul, you know what? We just got to get it right, mate. That's the bottom line.
One night we should have a tribute program to Mrs. Inman for putting up with you.
Oh, you better believe it. Yeah.
Richard, Southpaw says Richard.
That'll be called my funeral service, mate.
Well, you've got plenty of support in the chat as well, Richard.
No, look, the thing is, it's such a serious issue, and if people aren't passionate about this sort of stuff, what are they passionate about? If you can't be passionate about your country, and about literally, this is about saving our country, and we can't get it wrong, because the other thing we've got to remember is, right, we are living in a bubble on the right to a certain extent. And there's only so far that, and this is, I'm going to say something here now, please. I know this is going to be very misquoted and very misunderstood, but in a way, Farage has kind of got it right, but he's got it wrong. Let me explain what I mean by that, right? What Farage has done, and Trump did this when he won the last election by that massive landslide, what Trump managed to do was appeal to middle America. Now, I'm going to tell you something now. If any political party is perceived to be ethno-nat or genuinely racist, right? And I'm not saying Restore is for a minute, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are people in there that we know have ethno-nat leanings, but I'm not saying Restore's like that, okay? But if they're perceived to be that in a very real way, and there's evidence because people like Steve Laws and other genuine wrong-uns are supporting the party, and the party's not disavowing them, then they are dead on arrival electorally. As much as you can have a great social media presence, you might even have a couple of 100,000 members.
Well, that's just common sense, Richard, isn't it? That's just common sense.
It is, Paul. But you see, these things aren't being dealt with, and that's to me, those are massive, massive issues.
Well, thankfully, it's not our job to deal with it.
Well, Paul, it's your job. You're in college.
It's Rupert's job.
It's your job. No, I'm serious about that, Paul. I'm deadly serious. This is why I'm saying this, because if you're on the College of Advanced UK, you have a massive decision to make. And if you get this wrong and the decision is wrong, then you'll be partly responsible for either saving or destroying the country.
I don't think anyone in the college takes their position lightly. I mean, look, there's a lot to play out before we have to make our decisions. I think the college is the big problem for Rupert.
Well, I think if you listen to what Connor Tomlinson said, he was saying that this, the social media that's been produced is rubbish. He was saying that we're named after a toothpaste. It was just the normal childish stuff that that you get from a teenager that doesn't have much experience in life. But some people should watch that Connor Tomlinson interview, and they should actually watch a lot of Connor Tomlinson's output, because then they'll see that there is definitely a massive flirtation with ethno-nationalism, and we've got to remember that Connor Tomlinson's the equivalent of David Rhodes in Restore, as far as I can see. When he was boasting he was making policy, so he's one of the policy wonks in Restore. So we've got to be careful, Paul. So I'm saying we've got to be extremely careful. And yes, I was extremely angry on Friday. I'm still angry about this, because the best solution for our country would have been Rupert eating some humble pie, and again, coming on board. And it's almost like what I've said, and this isn't an attack on Ben, because I know Ben's doing absolutely the right thing, but it's almost because of what I said. It's kind of almost like the Advanced UK are the ones that are not that are not wanting a coming together. That's not the case. As far as I can see, all Restore want is surrender terms from Advanced UK. And if I'm wrong in that, that's fine. But that's what I perceive from the output that Connor Tomlinson's put out, who is basically one of their main policy guys, and I would imagine everything he said in that video he put out Rupert Lowe was in full agreement with.
Well, we will see. Only time will tell.
Yeah. I mean, play that. If you can get that thing by Howard Cox.
Yeah,
for
I can't.
Tweet.
I'll tell you what, Richard, I can't because I'm just not set up for that. I can't even open it in the new window.
Well,
I
tell me this, mate. Are you about tomorrow morning, like 9 o'clock your time?
For what reason?
My breakfast show.
I won't be around. No, I've got to leave home tomorrow, 9:30. I've got to leave home at 9:30 in the morning. I've got to be somewhere.
No, it don't matter. But I mean, I'll be going through a lot of this stuff in a lot of detail tomorrow morning in the breakfast show. Exactly what my thinking is, and exactly how I think it could work, and why I think that if that's what people want, then again in a democratic country, you want to give people what they want. The other thing is, I do think I think there should be some form of polling of the membership, and I know
Guardian Mo spoke about that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's difficult because again, you can have entryism because there'll be a lot of people that are in it that are members of Advance. We know there are a lot of people members of Advance are members of Restore, but maybe that's so. I don't know. In fact, the problem is it takes so much time to do something.
Well, yeah, not only that. I think in all honesty, we probably know what the answer will be anyway. I mean, look, I'm running it tonight. I'm running a poll on there tonight. There's 1,500 votes on it. 85% of the people are saying yes, amalgamate. And I've got to be honest with you, Richard. I agree with that. I'm going to go along with that. Right at this very moment, I want to see us amalgamate, but there are a lot of questions to answer, and this isn't the right place for me to ask the questions, right?
No.
I've got questions to ask. I want answers to certain things, but my belief is that we have to unite. We have to unite, Richard. We have to get the people. We have to get together.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to hold my tongue on that one. We have to do what's right for the country. That doesn't necessarily mean uniting with Restore. I again have misgivings, to say the least, and I think that the best better than an amalgamation is exactly what Howard Cox said. But look, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot at stake. Northern Ireland's at stake here as well. Northern Ireland's at stake.
Yeah.
There's a lot at stake, and it's a question of. I suppose the other thing is there's two men that are more important than anything that we say, and that's Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe. And if amalgamation means, well, okay, would you be quite happy for everything to be swallowed up? All the hard work that people are doing, policies done, all the structure that's been put in place, just to be swallowed up and given away to people that we don't know.
Well, the answer to that, I'll give you the answer to that, Richard. If it meant that we was going to win, then yes.
That's not really that. I don't think that's a thought out enough answer, Paul. Because the reality is, win what? If you win and you win with a party that is not what it appears to be for whatever reason. Because the thing is, we know exactly what Advance is, and we trust. I think there's too many people dropping the pants on this. To be honest with you, Paul, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. And 85%. Okay, I'll be in the minority. If that minority is right, then I'll go with the minority that's right, rather than and look, it's a poll on one channel.
At the moment, it's all conjecture because look, the main thing is what you said a minute ago, Richard, about the two most important people. They've got to get together. There's got to be, we got to. Those two guys have got to sit down together around the table. Ben comes back to the college, tells us what it's all about, and then we can make our own decision.
Paul, I think the reality is that Ben has. Here's the thing that people have got to understand, right? As much as I might like Rupert, right? Ben has time and time again gone to Rupert to try and find a solution to this. And I'm telling you now, I don't believe for a minute that they're interested in an amalgamation that would give an equal footing to people from Advance UK. And they have Conor Tomlinson has absolute contempt for Advance UK. You could tell by the way he spoke. Watch the video. Absolute contempt. That's not the grounds to me for a good relationship or a good marriage. So that's my opinion on it. well, I will not change on that. But I have been conciliatory in the fact that I'm saying, well, okay, let's do what Howard Cox's solution is the best solution, without a shadow of a doubt. Lost you, Paul. You must be muted, mate.
Richard, I say we shall see. Unfortunately, you joined us late tonight, mate, because I really would have loved to have had you on earlier. We got one. Did I read that one out? Richard was 100% right about reform. Raven says Richie and Rogue have just done a live hatchet job on Ben. Wow.
Nice
we'll
people.
Nice. What all
Nice.
that's about. I don't know.
That's nice. That's nice.
I don't know. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been another long show. I'll tell you what, Richard, we normally do an hour. The last 3 shows, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I did one last night, midnight, and I went for about an hour. That's why I was unavailable early because I was asleep.
Are you gonna do another late one tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna go on at 10. Probably about 10:30. What time? Probably about 11 o'clock.
I'm an hour in front. I'll lay in bed. It'll send me to sleep. So
You're funny. You're funny. You're a funny guy, Paul. Eh?
You're a funny guy.
No, you're a funny guy.
What do you mean funny?
Do I amuse you? But yeah, good fellas. What a movie. But anyway, yeah. So okay, Paul.
Sorry, last one of the night, Mr. the Courier. Yeah. I think Richard is hitting the nail cleanly on the head. I'm behind Ben all the way. I love Rupert, but I don't trust him. Thank you so much for all your comments.
Paul, before we go, this is exactly what I said about Nigel Farage. I compromised on Nigel Farage too much, and I regretted it ever since. I'm not going to compromise on this. I've got my guts telling me I'm right in what I'm thinking. I'm not going down the road of abusing these guys. I've done that. I've given all the grief I'm going to give. I want solutions, but the solutions have got to be right for the country, and they've got to be right for the advanced members as well.
Richard, I'm going to leave you with a picture that's going to give you nightmares.
Oh,
get out of here. Get out of here.
No.
Have a good one, everyone. We will be back soon. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm just enjoying doing these random lives. So love to everyone. Have a good week. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon. See you later, Rich.
See you, mate.